Welcome everybody to today's stream. Hope you had a nice day so far. Hello. Good morning, or wherever you are, hello. And let's check what we can do today. We are here back on our Zero to Hero challenge. And Siren's Reef. That's gonna be a painful experience, I guess, in tier 3, because that's where we are. Tier 3 fractals, we will do that. I guess some recommendeds on top of that. We'll see. And I also want to get some more mastery points. So today, really the goal is to get at least those 3 mastery points. So we will be like, let's see what we can get. So let's do some dailies. Tier 3 and wreck, that's what we want. Perfect. And let's go to Lion's Arch and let's play some fractals. Yeah, as always, if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. I'm always happy to answer that stuff. And yeah, let's just enjoy the ride here, I guess. It's tier 3 is like you never know what you get. It could be like complete, like very good gamers, or it could be someone that is like just starting out in fractals, doesn't even have the full agony resistance. Could be quite painful. So let's see what is the daily here. Silent Surf, oh my god. Okay. And Solid Ocean, that's good. Because I need one of the achievements there. Very good, very good. And I'm playing support here just to make sure that we can carry as much as possible. Also need to switch one trait, very good. But yeah, if you have any comments, any questions, just let me know. Other than that, I will try to explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it here. This is specifically like important if you're starting out fractals, that you should slowly, especially when you start going into tier 3, should definitely try to understand why a specific mob is doing what it does or how you can counteract it, because it really starts to like raise the difficulty in tier 3. I wouldn't say that it is straight up more difficult in tier 3 than it is in tier 2, but it's definitely increasing in a way that makes it for new players noticeable, because in tier 3 and tier 4 you to some extent have to follow along the normal lines of supporting and providing boons and stuff like that. In tier 1 and tier 2 it doesn't matter, it really does not. So that's the difference, and a lot of new players will struggle to get like groups that actually are able to clear all of that stuff, because at some point there is not a perfect healer, there is not a lot of boons out there, and in tier 3 that can be really punishing. Whereas in lower tiers, that is like completely irrelevant. That's what I want to say here. So if you're a new player, you should always be a little bit aware of what the current fractal is, how you can actually like notice what is the goal of this specific part, and slowly learn how to interact with everything. Welcome, Taste. Welcome. I'm good. And hopefully you're doing fine as well. But yeah, I think in tier 3, you should definitely start, if you want to go higher tiers and fractals, you should definitely start trying to understand how to deal with specific mobs, how to deal with specific mechanics in a fight, so that you can actually say, okay, I know what to do in this fractal, and don't just follow along and just don't kill everybody that is like around here, because that's not necessarily always the best course of action, especially in tier 4 fractals, where like a lot of players expect some form of etiquette that you should follow along the normal routes, normal things that you should be doing, because that's just what actually turned out to be the most reliable way of doing that. You can see here we already have one down. It's a little bit sad because I needed to rest that in continuum split, but okay. Either way, we are doing a fine job. I think this is a rather decent group. We are missing quickness, which is a little bit sad because we have a firebrand. But what can you do? What can you do? Better giving some alacrity. I think alacrity is the boon. If you want to keep your team alive, alacrity is a better boon. Nah, both of them are really good. It's really hard. I think quickness is the more aggressive boon. Alacrity can also give you your defensive utilities way faster. You can see how messy this fight gets if you don't kill it fast enough, but we did it. Very good, very good. But yeah, I hope you're all doing fine. And let's enjoy the weekend. And I'm so excited. You know, it's like 10 days to the expansion drops. Oh, that's crazy. So excited. More news about the expansion hopefully soon. Or just like, I just can't wait for the expansion. Trying out all the new lead specs, the new map, and hopefully some new features as well. I'm just like very excited. Are you excited as well? Because I feel like the community is actually quite hyped up about this expansion. So what are you thinking, chat? Is it like looking like one of the expansions that is more, I don't know, maybe even better than the Soto and Chancevalds, or do you think it's like somewhat similar? Or do you think the elite specs carry it so hard that's the... Ooh, we could get this achievement as well. That this will be like the best expansion anyway, just because it has the elite specs. You'll have to see. Maybe we can get this. That would be fun. Let's see. Very good. Does this turn? I think it does. Oh, okay. Okay. We need one more. Yeah, so I will do some fractals and I will do just some normal progression here for this account, get some mastery points, get the dailies done and stuff like that. And later I will also showcase what I achieved on this account, because it's like roughly 100 hours that I played on this account. And I want to make a, so to say, account tour. Obviously it's not impressive, but I want to show how much you can get done in 100 hours. That's the goal. So we will do that later after playing a little bit more here and getting some more unlocks. And hopefully we can actually achieve something before that, because it would be really nice to just showcase that it's actually, that we can actually progress some stuff that I should have done probably a little bit earlier, I have to be honest. So for example, auto loot, was still not able to get it. So let's see if we can get all the masteries for that today. That would be good. That would be really good. Okay, apparently it's not me today. But yeah, if you also need some of the achievements from fractals here for the masteries, you can also join later my tour here for 3 of those achievements, if you want. We will do that a little bit later though. For now, we just do the dailies so that we can actually get our fractal level up. We're currently at personal fractal level 50, so that's really nice. Every single fractal that we are doing will give us fractal level increase. So in tier 3, you go up to 75, makes sense. So we get up to 25 more levels. At some point we reach a point where we have a quite hard selection that we have to do all the time. But for now, we can do any fractal and it will increase the fractal level. And we already have like the maximum agony resistance that we need for tier 3. So this is exactly for 75 enough. That's good. And I want to increase it to 150, of course, as soon as I go in tier 4. That's the goal. Are the deluxe upgrades worth it? So I would say it depends what kind of player you are. And also worth mentioning here is that not every single deluxe upgrade is, in my opinion, or is subjectively or objectively rather the same. They are completely different, some of them. Some of them are really good. For example, I think the Visions of Eternity one is actually quite decent, because it gives you a gathering tool and gives you like the skimmer skin and stuff like that. I think that's quite good. I made a whole video about it, so you can check that one out on YouTube if you want to see all the showcases of those specific items that you get there. But some of them are not that good. For example, Heart of Thorns, I think is one of the rather weak ones that just give you some I think it's a miniature or something like that, and a title or something. It's quite like okay. That you pay for some cosmetic things that you might not even use at all. So for me, it highly depends on what kind of expansion it is. But I think some of them give you infinite gathering tools, and I think that's definitely worth it for most people. So I would say check it out if you are looking for a specific expansion and one of the ones that might be good. Yeah. So let's retrieve the treasure here. Okay, this guy's Giga Chat and just swimming. Okay, very good. Nice. But yeah, I would say I think on my main account, I have the deluxe editions for... I think I have all of them just because I'm a collector. And the cool part is, and that's really fun actually, you can purchase the normal expansion, so the standard edition, with real money. And then you can purchase the deluxe editions in the gem store. Let me showcase this. Maybe not during the boss, but yeah. You can upgrade this to the deluxe edition. It's really fun. So you can use gems for that if you don't know that. It's not necessarily like, I would say, the thing that you should do, because of course, just keep in mind, some of them are just convenience or some are just cosmetics. So sometimes I would say it's like you spend gems to get some cosmetics that you never use. But if it's like a gathering tool that you get there or something like that, yeah, skip it. Or if I just don't answer it, just ask again or give me more details and I hopefully can answer you better next time. That's the goal here. Because this is after all Zero to Hero challenge, so I want to help new players follow along, give some answers to the questions that they might have, or just showcase them how you can actually like do stuff a little bit more efficiently, maybe a little bit faster, and maybe have more fun in the game as well. Just kill all the ghosts here. Second skill is the best here in the cannon form. So let's give some nice boons. Looks good, looks good. Yep, now we have quickness a little bit at least. That's good. That's good. But it's not permanent, that's the sad part. Not perfect. Welcome Patricia, welcome Patricia. How are you doing? Everything fine so far? No pain, no gain is a little bit painful here. We have always protection at resolution on the boss, so it like takes 33% longer if no one is stripping it. I don't strip it right now because I focus on healing. But the necromancers could easily strip that. They have that in their kit. Yeah, they do it. Yeah, exactly. For example, with the Wells or with the Greatsword 4 or something like that, all of that strips. So no pain, no gain could be easily solved here. But of course, I can't like make sure that this happens because this is after all a tier 3 puck run. We don't know what they will actually understand and what they just don't know yet. But no pain, no gain can be a very, very painful. That's probably why the name is like that. Mistlock, singularity, or no, instability. That's how it's called. There we go. That was not that bad, actually. Good group. Very nice. Yeah, so like I said earlier, we will do just some Zero to Hero progression here. I will do some later, some achievements for the mastery points. So if you want to join then, we will do the daily run and then here do some mastery points. So everyone that still needs those achievements or just wants to help out, it will take like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something, not that long. It's really easy, to be honest, those achievements. You just have to kill some mobs and that you normally wouldn't kill, for example, and then you get the mastery point for that. That's quite nice. Very good, very good. Yeah, that's what we like to hear. It's after all weekend, so I hope everyone is doing fine. Yeah, I'm doing really, I'm quite happy, quite well, and I'm very excited about the expansion coming up. I think that's for me like the big push, like being very hyped about it. I think the new expansion is like for me, even though it's not out yet, I'm still already like quite positive about the game. Let's hope it stays like that when the expansion comes out. But I actually expect the expansion to be quite a big hit, at least for me, because elite specs, you know, elite specs. The last time we got elite specs was at End of Dragons, and that's like years ago. So I'm really like big excited for the expansion. So yeah, can't wait to try all of that stuff out, especially because I expect like after the blog post, I expect some big changes, and those might also, for example, like Conduit, Evoker, those that get like crazy big changes, even Troubadour, to be honest. I expect to make some crazy builds work that we couldn't make work before. To be honest, for example, Evoker, I was trying Healing Evoker specialized in water, and it was quite bad. It was really bad. And after those changes that they announced, I think that might actually be quite viable, like specializing in water only and just having 5 skills that you can use off cooldown, which is enough to heal your party and give all the boons. Oh yeah, that might be the first crazy low intensity healer. Yeah. These recent changes to the new elite specs seem great too. Exactly. I think they are not only like great for players that just want to have a fun elite spec, but also for players like me that actually care about balance and just how it turns out, how all of them play. I think they actually nailed it. I think we have to, of course, see how it plays, because they can write a lot in a blog post, but we have to see if it's actually true or what the changes actually look like, because we don't know all the details yet. But I think they made actually quite a very smart move with a lot of them, and that's exactly what we want. They didn't mention anything about Rasa for Conduit, which is kind of concerning. I agree. That was for me something that I also was like, why did they not mention Rasa, or why did they not even mention any boons? That was for me something that is really weird. You know, they said they buffed, for example, those skills, like the Assassin stance on Conduit now gives, for example, those shockwaves that immobilize. Sounds amazing, especially for World vs. World, for example. But why did they not mention an example, for example, that the Centaur stance, for example, would give alacrity or would give like quickness or something, yeah? Why not mention that? Because I think that is something that we all expected to get, and they didn't, and that means either they just are not sure or have not completely figured it out, or don't do it. And to be honest, if they don't buff Rasa or give us more boons, I think Dead Mines is a little bit concerning because yes, it's buffed, but it's not perfect yet. And I was expecting quite a lot of boon buffs to convert. So we will see. I will have to try it when it comes out. I hope for all the changes that I expect, but could not be happening as well. They still need give each Rasa skill that unique base effect on the other legend, not just one skill. Yeah, that would be, in my opinion, the ideal case. I agree. We will have to see. Maybe they buffed it out of the wazoo and the attacks are crazy damage and stuff and crazy, like, very strong. Maybe, but I think Rasa is definitely a weak point now after the buffs, for sure. It's nice that they listen to the community. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. I think they listen to a lot of feedback. And I was like, when I read the blog post the first time, I thought, they actually might have, like, it was a lot of the stuff that I mentioned on my streams, they actually addressed. Of course, that's a little bit hard to judge because a lot of people have the same feedback that I had. But not all of the feedback that I mentioned was in the blog post, but I'm still not completely hopeless that they will make some changes. For example, Evoker is, for me, they just told us they will change some stuff with it, especially the traits. But they did not mention any examples. So I still have my hopes that they actually buff it so much that it's actually workable with the specialized elements trait. But we will have to see. Either way, I think it's very exciting times, and I have to be honest, when the expansion drops, one of the first things, if not the first thing that I will do is probably like read the release notes. Like, I'm not joking, I'm such a nerd there. I will read the release notes and will go over all the changes that they did, because for me that's something that is way more exciting than going, for example, for like exploring the map for the first time, because I can do that like half an hour later anyway. So that will be something quite exciting when the expansion comes. I think Amalgam's still going to be decent. I think Amalgam will be actually in a better spot than before. Why is that? I think Amalgam will not be more broken. Don't get me wrong. The damage output might be lower, but I think Amalgam will now be in a spot where they don't have to nerf it again. So in the end, that is a better, healthier spot for the game that Amalgam will be in than before. Because I think giving it just alacrity is a smart move, because then you can balance around that. Giving like the morph skills and all of that stuff a very like flexibility issue, so that you can give quickness, alacrity, DPS and all of that stuff is horrible to balance. Now they have a clear path to balance it, and I think it's, I would say it's actually in a very, very strong spot still, and it is somewhat balanced, yeah. You're hyped for the home building, for the homesteads? Nice, that's very good. That's something that I'm not like a big like person to engage with, but doesn't mean that I'm not hyped for the people that actually enjoy that. But I'm personally, of course, like more of the gameplay type. I like to have some gameplay going on and stuff like that. But I think the new homestead looks amazing, so that's already something that is really good. And I think the new features that they brought with the homestead, like that you can like switch your loadouts and stuff like that, that's amazing. It's really cool. Welcome, Viz. Welcome. I saw you changed your name. Very good. Which spec are you personally most excited to try? I would say for me, right now, I would say, before the blog post, I would have said Gale Shot, yeah? Because I thought Gale Shot is for me the spec that is like the clear fantasy of a full DPS build with a bow and just a lot of damage. Perfect for me as a fast-paced player. I think that is something cool. However, after the blog post, I was like excited to try out Evoker, because they've really changed it quite a lot. And I also think, like, for me, Troubadour was looking like a spec that they actually completely rework, like almost. Like even changing the boon that it provides. That's for me like a crazy like sign. So I'm actually quite excited about those two. But it's really hard for me to pinpoint something, because to be honest, I play all of them, like every single one of them. I will not like say, oh, I will only play this. But I would say for me right now, if I had really to say, put a finger on it, I think Evoker might be the one that I'm like the most excited to try out, because it feels like it could have a lot of cool theory crafting behind it and really big changes. Yeah. Amalgam was broken because it caused the beta crashes. It was OP because way too high damage scaling. Exactly. I mean, the beta crashes is obviously that's like that happens. It's after all a beta event, so I think that's no one is like sad about that. But The thing that I was like always worried is the flexibility that it had baseline while also having amazing damage. That's something that a spec like makes it absolutely busted, and they address it now with not being as flexible as before while also having probably lower damage numbers, which is in my opinion something that is exactly what we needed. I think it will probably still be a very, very strong spec in all game modes. So don't worry if you're an engineer fan, it will still be a very, very strong spec. However, I think it will not be like reaching crazy benchmarks or like completely one-shot you in PvP, at least not as much as it did before. Yeah, that's true. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing good, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Welcome, Snowdrop. You made it. Very nice, very nice. I got a very weird question. Sure, ask. I mean, I cannot promise you to answer it, but I will try. I will try. You can't imagine how angry I was during the beta. I was doing a map completion and every crash, it rewinded my progression. It had to do the same map 5 or 6 times in a row. Oh yeah, that's obviously very sad, but I can understand this like big issue for you there specifically. But I have to be honest, I think it's like very nice of ArenaNet that they do a beta that is like completely publicly available. They could easily say we locked the beta behind the pre-ordering, or we could even say it's only for who knows, ArenaNet partners or something, but they want to get as much data as possible, while of course also providing some opportunity for new players to try out the beta and elite specs. So I think, yes, it's annoying if you want to actually play the game and not play the beta event, then it can be annoying with the crashes, but I think it's still very nice, and I think they fixed it rather fast. Yeah, I know it was a few days where they at least had the beta event down, but the crashes itself were taken care of rather soon. So not too bad there. I think it's, yes, it could have been handled better, but I think it's definitely not the worst that I saw. Yeah. I'm trying Power Scrap and was wondering if AoE auto tag will be a good setting. Can you maybe say something about the auto target settings? Yes. So there are two things that you have to consider there. There are of course normal auto tags, like just hammer auto tag and stuff like that. So that is completely fine. But if you use grenade kit, so there are multiple things that I want to mention here. If you use grenade kit, where is it? There is this setting here, ground target, and then you can change it between fast and with range indicator and normal and stuff like that. I personally would always go for the one that you find the most comfortable. And then you should also try and say, okay, do I want to snap my ground target to the current target? That's probably what you're talking about. I personally have that turned off because I don't like that. I want to have my option to cast my well here and not on the target. Makes sense. Sometimes you want to help a player or predict some movement of an enemy. And therefore, this snap to ground target option is not always the best option. But if you want to have this option on, because you're only using a scrapper, only in PvE, for example, only with the grenade kit, then this setting can be something that helps you to land the grenades and you don't have to worry too much about it. I would say as soon as you play competitive modes, that's not the best option anymore, because there you need to predict movement. You cannot expect the foe to stand still and you get hit all the grenades. But I personally would say it works, yeah. I would say go for the setting that you like there. I personally don't have it on, but you can also have a switch, for example, like that. And the auto target setting in general, this one that you also saw here, where is it? Here, auto targeting. This will just, I personally don't like that, but you can turn it on. For a new player that might help you, but auto targeting is a weird setting in that regard, because it will, for example, make your movement skills able to always cast to a target. But the problem is, if you want to use your movement skill without a target, so for example hammer 3 on a scrapper, then it might go in a different direction than you actually wanted it to, because there might be a target in the other way around. So I think that's also not something that would always turn on. But if you're a new player and just have troubles finding your target, yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah, of course, that's with the infusion, that's obviously something that is rare, could happen, but it's not very likely, to be honest. So I'm a new player, played this game for almost a month now. I've done all Fractal CMs and Wing 1 to 7 CM and Wing 8 normal. And I'm looking into getting Legendary Triggins, but I have done 0 open world stuff and it's very overwhelming. Any advice? It's really fun that you say that this is specifically overwhelming to you, because you did probably the hardest part in PvE already. And now this is the overwhelming part. But I'm planning on doing a guide in the future after the expansion comes out to all the open world legendaries and stuff like that. But for now, I would say the wiki is your best friend there. And like Snowdrop already mentioned, it's really nice. For example, for the legendary amulet, it's very easy to just follow along the return to achievements. So the Seasons of the Dragons is it's called. And if you follow along there, you have a very clear path to the first legendary from the trinkets there. And then you can go for all of the other ones as well. And we will even get an accessory in the ring with the expansion. So that might also be good for you. But yeah, I think checking out the wiki and using, for example, Guild Wars 2 Efficiency, those two tools are amazing to get stuff done. So maybe that helps you. Yes, no, I think this was referring to playing on a normal character, not in the beta event, and then crashing because some crashes happened for someone else. And then they had to reset their account or like get some backtracking of their account. That's a little bit sad then. Welcome, Half Return. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think the amulet is a good start because it's very easy. It doesn't cost anything and you will get a lot of achievements. And that's the cool part that you will also need, for example, for Vision or Aura. That's really cool. So you can just progress your account for going for 2 trinkets at once, so to say. So where is my food? There it is. Yes, I mean, I didn't need to. That's why I was prepared. I was mentally prepared to get the continuum shift there going. But we had a second Mesmer. They did, or Guardian. Someone pulled at least. Maybe a Reaper, but I never expect Reapers to switch to Spectral Grasp. Whoever pulled, someone pulled it before. So I didn't have to continuum split it. That's surprising. Very surprising in a tier 3 fractal run. Yeah, I think the crashes in the beta event were quite not only extensive, but also like quite annoying a lot of different types of players, even the people that were not in the beta event, yeah. I mean, it was also so that they couldn't even log in, even if, or stuff like that. So there were a lot of issues that were following from this, for sure, for sure. Is there any spec you would recommend to do this one? I only got Condi Willbender and Power Berserker. No, I think it's like, especially if you play open world stuff, yeah. I think you should go for the class that you enjoy the most because open world stuff typically is not hard at all. It just takes time. So you should not do stuff with a character that you do not even enjoy that much because you will spend quite a long time on it. So it should be, so to say, your main, because you will be doing map exploration, you will do achievements and stuff like that, story progression, stuff like that. You will do that on this character and you should probably not switch around too much. But I think Berserker is completely fine. Condi Willbender is completely fine. They both have absolute good damage and it's really nice to clear all the stuff that you need to get done. I think play what you like more. There is not a real like build that you should go for or shouldn't use. I would not go for a healer, but of course that makes sense because you might be alone. Then you should not play healer. But if you are playing any DPS build, maybe even a Boon support, something like that, Boon DPS support, that's completely fine. I have an MMO mouse. Yes, that is correct. I have an MMO mouse and that helps me to get my buttons here from 6 to 0. That's what I have bound to my mouse, for example. But I think Guild Wars 2 is quite forgiving in that regard. You don't have to have an MMO mouse. It helps a lot in my opinion, but it's not necessary. I think other MMOs have way more buttons that you actually have to have on your hotbar, and then it gets quite annoying without any like alter keys like shift or control. And Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that issue so much, but it can of course help as well. Yes, I have a Logitech there, Logitech G600 I think it's called. In my opinion, they should do a separate beta test server. I think if they would have that and have that publicly, I think they would do that. However, they want to have as many people playing it as possible, and I think the barrier to entry, if it would be a public beta test server, is way, way higher than just having it in the normal client. That's the reason I think why they wanted it like that, because they want as much data as possible, and you can only get as much data as possible if every single player has access to it potentially. And if the barrier to entry is like creating a new account or something like that on a different server or whatever, however it would work, then it is probably way more like way less likely to get more players in this test server and therefore get less data, and they will not be hopefully as, you know, precise with their fixing. Yeah, that's the thing. I think I read something about starting the collection for Prismatic Champions Regalia and Aurora together because of completion overlap. Yes, I would say just do the Return to achievements and also have started the Aurora and Vision collections, because you will do a lot of the stuff that you would do for Return to achievements. You would just complete a lot of stuff at the same time, not all of it, but a lot of it, while you are actually doing the Return to Prismatic Regalia achievement. And that's, in my opinion, like very smart. You save up on a little bit of time at least. I just follow along. I have actually no clue what the route here is. I did it now twice or something on this account, so I should actually get something done. But I'm always concerned. Okay. Oh my god. Why did it switch? That's actually so mean. Worst Fractal boss in Guild Wars 2? I think it's one of the worst. Yeah, Deepstone Fractal boss is quite annoying with the highs falling off and stuff like that. It's quite annoying to play. If you ever have played a Power Willbender there, that's like one of the worst builds. I can tell you this is one of the worst builds to play there, because you have so much forced movement and all of it is target driven. So that means whenever you use a movement skill, then there will be a time where the boss teleports, and as soon as it teleports, you will move into a hole, and that happens like 5 times a fight or something. It's horrible. It's a really, really bad build for that specific fight. Yeah. Since you've been playing this game for a long time, is there any class that have been like meta for all highest content? I would say Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that much trouble even in the highest types of contents, even in like legendary challenge modes, that you only want to have specific classes. Like even there you play all the classes. But I would say, for example, Mesmer always has been a really good pick. I would say Guardian always has been a really good pick. Necromancer has always been a really good pick. Those 3 classes, I would say, ever since like crazy hard challenge content came out, was like always one of the 3 best classes. So I would say it's not too bad. Other than that, you can play any class. I think like even like classes that are somewhat unpopular, like Warrior or even Thief, they can be completely like fine and very strong in those content as well. It's just that you of course have to understand that some of the builds like Chronomancer is very flexible, very easy to take care of. There we go. Nice. Nice. Can I do that? Please let me do it. Please, 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 please. Okay. No. I have to do the whole thing again. Oh my god, that's horrible. This is such a bad fractal. It's so bad. PTR servers usually need to be installed besides the main game as well, and it splits the community, and the part of the community willing to actually test stuff isn't massive in the first place. Yeah, good point, good point. I think you don't want to split the community too much, or split it at all, to be honest. Nice, we actually did it, so I can GG now, can I? Okay. There we go. There we go, we did it, I think. What do you think about the new Elite Spec blog post? Not saying anything about content boon share. Yeah, I mentioned it just like 10 minutes ago. I think that is the most concerning part about the whole blog post, is that Conduit did not get any, like they mentioned some good stuff, but they like forgot to mention or did not mention anything about Rasa changes or wound changes. And that's 2 very concerning things for me. So I would personally say if they don't address this issue at all, like the blog post like lets you suspect, that is concerning. That is quite concerning. If they, however, just like negate it to mention it, then that's good, but a little bit weird. So I hope they will just put some boons on there. Hopefully also buff Rasa, maybe both in the same vein. But either way, I think that's something that needs to be addressed. I really think so. If Conduit doesn't have any boon access, that is like, I wouldn't say dead on arrival, but it is definitely something that is quite painful to theory craft around other than having a DPS build. That's just not good, for sure. Yeah, I would say Guardian or Necro for you if you like those, yeah. Yeah, you can jump with the 3, I know. I just don't like this kind of fractal gameplay because it's like forcing you on something that is not, it's a puzzle, yeah? But it doesn't force you to play stuff that you normally would use. So your normal attack skills are disabled. You just have to use this puzzle mechanic of those like rocket jumps and that kind of stuff. I think that's horrible because I think that's way more fun to use like the normal skills and maybe normal movement skills to actually move across stuff here and not use like those gliders and stuff. But we did it, so I don't have to do it in a week or so. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's quite an annoying fractal, especially if you don't do it in challenge mode. Absolutely. Do you have a relaxing open world build for Necro? Yes, you can play Reaper. I think Reaper is probably the best open world spec for Necromancer. If you just want to play it, you can play a Power Reaper. I have a Condi Reaper as well. Both of them work very well. I would say the Power Reaper is very relaxing. You chill and shroud a lot. You have a lot of damage. You heal a lot. You have a lot of boons passively. It's a really good build. You can check out my YouTube channel if you want to have that. Exclamation mark builds, for example, works. You get a spreadsheet and there is all the Necro builds that I mentioned here listed, for example, and you have all the links to it as well. Exactly, there we go. Welcome, Yusuf. Welcome. Hope you're all doing fine. I suspect them also wanting to real-world data gather with normal players. Exactly. It's very important for the ArenaNet developers that they get as big as a population as possible. Because if you have like a test server, I think that's a very good point here. And then typically it's like something of a similar issue like with Guild Wars 2 efficiency. That you would skew your population in a specific direction. Yeah. So the population would be more tryhard players that join this specific test server. It would not include any very casual players. The same goes, of course, for example, for if Guild Wars 2 efficiency. Most very casual players are not on Guild Wars 2 efficiency. So that skews your population in a way that you not necessarily want. Because, for example, you want to have someone try an elite spec in a way that is very weird and casual and maybe not correct in the sense of a tryhard player. But a tryhard would never think about it, would never do it, and then they would never get a bug that would actually happen, for example. So, yeah, that's just good point there. Good point, yeah. Which class has the best solo potential for all content? Oh, that's a question that is like quite hard. I actually don't want to answer this question like right now because I made a whole tier list about it and it took like half an hour or something. And it's really hard to come up with a single name and just say this is the best. It depends heavily on the content that you're doing. Sometimes the content that you're doing is very easy for a specific class and very hard for another one, and that changes completely when you have a different type of content. I would say I have one of the best, if not the best solo build coming up, a video about it this week, yeah, or in the next few days, yeah. So if you stay tuned there on my YouTube channel, I will actually release it. I don't want to tease it right now because I really want to see how the people actually think this build will perform and stuff like that. So it should be some kind of surprise. But yeah, stay tuned for that one. And I think it's really broken. And not a lot of people know about it. It's actually really, really strong. Yeah. But yeah, in general, like all classes can be very strong in solo play. Some of them are a little bit better than others, but most of the classes have a very, very strong solo build. Just look at my YouTube channel again. You will find a lot of solo builds that work. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of guides. I put a lot of effort into getting new players to just play the game and hopefully help them out with my content. So if you have anything that you don't see there yet and you think it's worthwhile making a video about, let me know. I'm always happy to get this. And I'm also, of course, working on a lot of stuff in the background as well. Untamed is very good, that is true. But there are some other builds as well. You know, it's not only Ranger builds. There are some other good ones as well. Yeah, I'm teasing. I'm sorry. I'm teasing. It's actually not... I mean, so the thing is, Necromancer, I already have the best builds out there. Yeah. So I have one elite spec that I don't have the best build out there, and it will be coming in the next few days. Necromancer, I already have all the best builds out there. So the power version is really good and the Condi version is really good. So for example, the Condi version of the Condi Reaper build is able to solo like fractal CMs. So yes, it's a really good build. And I don't need to have another build because that's just the best build. Why would I make another video that is just like inferior to this one? So it's not Necromancer because it already has a very good build out there. Or multiple actually, yeah. Exactly. Every single class has very good solo builds already out there in the game. Even every single elite spec, you know. In the beginning, when I started my YouTube journey, I thought like, yeah, okay, let's make 5 or so solo build guides. But I noticed quickly that every single class actually has a very, very strong solo build. Every single elite spec, I mean. Every single one of those. Yes. I will not answer any more questions because you guys are smart. You ask every single class and I will always say no until I don't say no and then you have it. No, I will not answer anymore. Yeah. I know it. You almost get it. Very good. What do you think is the most fun class to play? I think it depends heavily on the game mode and what kind of role you want to fill. If I would have to choose one class right now, I would say before the expansion it's Vesma. After the expansion I actually might be inclined to say it's actually Elementalist. I think with Evoker coming up I have so many like possible builds that I want to try and it's very fun to theory craft around it. I think I might be Elementalist. But we will have to see. Welcome Snowbleach. Do you think it's a bad idea to craft Aurochs backpack if you only have 2 legendary weapons? So, 2 things there. Aurochs is currently, as far as I know, the most expensive legendary to get. Maybe with the exception of Eternity. Yeah. So Aurochs is very expensive to do. And it's a backpack. Which means a backpack gives you the least amount of stats in the entire game of any weapon. Or any armor piece or anything. So it's the least important item to get. Yeah. Does that mean it's not worth it getting? No. I'm just saying maybe have something else before that. Because backpacks nowadays are also, even Ascended ones, not actually that hard to come by. But if you really like the skin, if you really like this like goal of getting the really cool looking legendary for you, whatever, yeah, sure, go for it. I think it's completely fine. I just would say maybe wait for the expansion, like a couple more days, because it might actually introduce some methods to get it faster, maybe get some of the items there, or most people will not go for it anymore. I don't know. I think it's really hard to judge if you should go for a legendary like that right now, or if you should say, okay, that's something that I will do at some later. I don't know. I think it's really hard to judge. I personally would say Aurochs is maybe not the best legendary to go for as the 3rd legendary, but maybe for you it is. So I can't judge there. I cannot judge. Yeah, the pointers. Yeah, it was a really technical post. I'm not into programming that much, so I was actually at some point like a little bit lost, but it's really cool that they make a blog post about this Snowbleach. It's really cool actually, to be honest. That they told us this is what happened in the background, that's what the issue was, and now we know in the future. I think that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. I see you went out of the comfort zone on your 0 to hero journey and went with Bruno Heal Chronomancer Fractals. How do you like the class? Yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I know this is just such a good class to carry groups. I know it's boring that I always play Chronomancer and like carry people with that, but it's just everything else would be somewhat of like unnecessary challenge. You can see those people are dying here left and right anyway. So if I would play, I don't know, Heal Harbinger or Heal Deadeye, yes, that would be a challenge, but it would also be an unnecessary challenge that might even lead to unnecessary vibes because the groups are horrible. So yes, I agree, it's a little bit boring, but I think it's just so good. And I have to be honest, I just like it right now. Why would I swap to a class that is potentially worse and not as fun for me? Yeah. So that's why I went for Chronomancer. And I have to be honest, I maybe have to change my main after the, so to say, my main carry build after the expansion dropped. So I think I want to play as much Chronomancer as possible before we have to like change the character. Yeah, I think Aurochs is a really cool legendary. However, I think the problem with it is for one thing, I'm not sure if they like actually thought about it, or if they this item here. Why is that item required in such a high quantity? I think that's insane to me that they thought, okay, this is something. Wait. Okay, they're already running. But yeah, I think it's crazy that they thought this is the smartest way. That to make the glacial shard like absolutely required for like hundreds of them. That's crazy to me. But other than that, I think Aurochs is actually quite a successful and nice legendary. I'm a beginner. Which legendary armor is the easiest to start? I would say definitely the easiest is the open world one. You don't have to play anything else than open world. So the Soto, Secrets of the Obscure Legendary armor. The Obsidian legendary armor it's called. This is really easy to get, but it requires a time effort. That's the thing. So it depends heavily what kind of game mode you play if you want to have the fastest one. But I would say the easiest one is definitely Obsidian one. Always happy to help, Long. Always happy to help. Yes, I'm currently doing full-time content creation. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because I created Mesmer, now I am having fun. Yeah, Mesmer is a really, really cool class, and I think it will even get better with the expansion because Troubadour looks like a very, very strong spec to play with the distortion share and stuff like that. So yes, I think Mesmer is one of the best classes right now, and it's very fun to play for most people. So if you like this design, the look, and it should be a good pick. Yeah. Yeah, the backs need some sorting. That is true. That is absolutely true. We will do this after this fact. No, we have one more after this. Oh my god, it's 24. It's 24. That's not good. What is 24? Is it... Oh no. It's one of the long ones. That will be a little bit painful, but okay. What can we do? Specs to play in World vs. World. Easy to play. Oh, that was a nasty combo, to be honest. But still valuable in the Zerg. I would say Scourge is quite easy to play. Like full Minstrel Zerg. Scourge is quite easy to play and is very valuable because it provides a lot of strips, a lot of barrier, stuff like that. That would be my very good pick. Other than that, maybe Scrapper, maybe. But Scrapper is a little bit more like button mushy, but I don't know. I think like I would recommend Necromancer in general. Is quite easy to play in a Zerg. Which legendary armor do you prefer visually for each weight class? Or I might be the wrong person to ask there because look at this character. It never changed anything of my skin here. This is exactly the skin that I just got. So I would say personally for me, I like the raid armor the most, all of them, because the raid armor for me is the one that is the most unique. Yeah, it has the most unique looks in terms of like that you have a draw animation, that you have a very like nice looking armor in general. I think there can be made some arguments that, for example, the medium armor one is a little bit like it's a trench coat again and stuff like that. But I typically don't even equip the legendary armor skins. I think I mostly like transmute them because for me it's more the convenience. I think the skins are nice, but they are not like top tier. There could be way better skins, or there are way better skins for armor sets out there. So it's really hard to say, to be honest, for me. Really hard. Yeah. Can't wait for a guide build for the new elite specs. Evoker, yeah, I have so many cool ideas for all the builds, for all the elite specs coming up. So I will be very, very busy on stream, off stream, creating videos and stuff like that. So will be very fun time for sure when the expansion drops. And don't worry, everything will come. And every single elite spec will get a build, multiple of course. Hopefully Troubadour is a decent DPS. Only thing I miss on Mesmer is a lot of quickness. Yeah, what can I say? I think personally that Troubadour will be a spec that can be played as a full DPS, a full Condi DPS, full boon support with healing, as a boon support without healing. It's actually, I think Troubadour might be the most flexible spec in existence, with the exception of not being able to play Alacrity after the change. Yeah, that was not the target I wanted, but okay. But yeah, I think that's Troubadour looks very, very promising in terms of DPS. I think there was a benchmark for Troubadour that reached like 46k DPS or something. So I think if they don't change it too much, I think Troubadour will be a very, very strong DPS spec as well. Yeah. Yeah, 24 is painful. That is painful, yeah. I really love Guardian, especially Willman and Dragon Hunters, like Unkillable. Yeah, I think there are so many cool, unique specs for every single class. I think every single player should find a elite spec that is actually somewhat like fitting to their playstyle for sure. How's Revenant elite specs nowadays? I'm looking for a new class to play for a second. I would say Revenant is in a weird spot because it's never the best. Maybe in open world solo gameplay, it might be one of the best specs, but in all other content, it's like always a good pick, but it's never the best pick. So it's a little bit niche in that regard. And the same goes even for competitive modes. So I would say Revenant is fun to play. It's really like easy to get into. It's quite strong, but it's never the best. It's never the top tier pick. So I would say for me, if you enjoy it, go for it. But I would not recommend it to someone that says, I want the absolute best class or best elite spec in this specific content, because it's probably not Revenant. Oh, oh, no. Yeah, I mean, Sanqua is quite painful, to be honest. But what can we do? That's what we want to do here. Some fractals. The roleplay on this one is so bad. It's not bad in the story, but it takes so long. That's the painful part. So much talking of the spirit here. It's crazy. And DPS Chrono is a bit awkward with clones dying all the time. Yeah, DPS Chrono I think is one of the worst DPS builds. I actually play Chronomancer a lot on stream, but DPS Chronomancer is for me always a class that I would never pick. Tell me a single reason why anyone would play a DPS Chronomancer other than they really enjoy it. Because there is not a real like place where this is like the absolute best build, where this makes a lot of sense. So I personally think like for me DPS Chronomancer is a build that exists, but for me, I would never play it. I would always play a power Virtuoso, even a power Mirage above that, like always. I think I have one charge too little, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I don't have any charges left, very good. What is this group? That fight already takes like 10 minutes? Yeah, what can I say? It's a tier 3 group. Classic tier 3 group. We just try to get this stuff done. It's not a we are on the 0 to hero challenge here, so nothing crazy in terms of like good groups that we will find on this run. They are not that bad. We didn't wipe, so that's good enough. Yeah, at least it's not CM, exactly. Was there anything I need to do with the 2 legendary assassins before I start the amulet grind? I don't think so. I don't think so. There we go. We did it. Is it bugged? Why is it not working? No, there it is. Very good. Thanks, Tomion. Thanks, really appreciate it. Thanks for the prime. Thanks for your support. So we have the boss finally. Do you think there will be any Condi Amalgam builds and Wound DPS builds? Yes. I think like Amalgam will be very flexible. You can play a full DPS Amalgam. I think you will be able to play a full Alacrity DPS Amalgam, Condi or Power. And I think you might, even if you like want to cook like crazy, I think you might also be able to play a full support Amalgam. I think it's quite one of the worst ones, but it is definitely possible. No, guys. Oh, that was close. Yeah. I think it will also be playable as Power or Condi. Both of them will be fine. Yeah. Yeah, DPS Chrono is fun, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, why would you play a Power build that has a like very bad burst if you could just play a Condi build instead that might even have a higher DPS number in the end? That's why I think it's like a weird spec in that regard. But I think it's quite fun. There was a time where it was the absolute best DPS build and everyone played it. There was like speedruns of 8 Chronomancers in raids or something. So yes, that existed and it was quite fun to watch. Yeah, so I think it's quite likely that you can just start the amulet and you will get all of the things that you need for unlocking everything all at once. Yes, I think that's what you should do. Just start it, get it done, and you will get all the achievement and stuff because they are somewhat overlapping without having you to start anything, as far as I remember. Yeah. Chronomancer or Druid for group content? Both are fine. I think if you play Fractals a lot and like stuff like that, 5-person content, I think Chronomancer is better. Druid is really good in raids specifically. Because of its entangle, because of its knockback, and just flexibility with the pets. I think Druid is really good in raids. Yeah. Talking about Unique, I'm finally trying Support Spectre and it's so much fun. Yeah, it's really good. It's one of my most unique and fun design specs, I would say, in Guild Wars 2. Absolutely agree. Thoughts on raid quick play? I'm not sure if 10 random people can clear a raid boss. They will probably make some like very easy adjustments, so that it's actually quite easy to get done. So you don't have to be a crazy raider to actually get it done, and you don't probably need any roles. You can just join like you could do with Fractal Quickplay. That's what raid Quickplay will probably be looking like. Yeah. Yeah. Stop being mean, Snowdrop. You know, it's like I'm tier 3 first time here, yeah. So don't be mean if I cannot get the jumps. What's going on here? We want to have a nice chat, nice experience, yeah. Yeah, Sankwa is a weird fractal, especially not in challenge mode. Absolutely. Yeah, I think Spectre is awesome. Spectre is an awesome spec. I really like it a lot. I would say mostly in PvE, because in competitive modes it's very challenging to play. This inventory is cursed. I have to clean that up. It's horrible. Yeah. Your opinion to Holosmith and group content? I think Holosmith, if you really enjoy the class fantasy, go for it. But I would say they need to buff it. They need to buff it. Let's go. Yeah. I think Holosmith is a spec that is a little bit overshadowed by its other elite specs. So Scrapper is a better power DPS, like without a doubt, I would say. And Mechanist is a better Condi DPS, without a doubt, in most situations. Yes, the damage numbers could be higher on Holosmith, but in a real fight typically will not reach that. So I think Holosmith, if you really enjoy it, go for it. But I personally would say Holosmith is a spec that is somewhat like, yeah, a little bit power crept right now in PvE. So if you enjoy it, go for it, but don't expect to be like absolute giga carry, which is normally better with Scrapper or Mechanist, I would say. What do you think is the reason behind Scourge staying the best Condi DPS of the new profession drops? I mean, the new elite spec for Necromancer is like clearly support or power favored. There is nothing in Ritualist that favors a Condi build, like absolutely nothing. Not a single thing that like you would say, oh, this is why you would pick this. I think that's, I don't know the reason why the developers said this is the thing that we want to have, but apparently that's what they decided. And I think Scourge will stay the best Condi DPS, or not best, but the most flexible Condi DPS for Necromancer. I think Harbinger is just better as a full class cannon, but I think if you want to have a safe time, Scourge will always stay the best one. Yeah. It's really hard to judge what's the best subclass elite spec for Necromancer. I think it heavily depends on the content. Right now, I would say in PvP, it's definitely Reaper. In World vs. World, I would say it's Scourge for Surging. And if you play in PvE, I think it heavily depends on the role. All three are completely fine, and I think Ritualist will also be very fine. Yeah. Since I'm looking forward to Amalgam, I decided to on this Juggernaut as my first legendary weapon. It fits so well. Yeah, it fits very well, and it's also a very, very strong weapon for Engineer. Like every single power Engineer, except the Rifle Mechanist, is using a hammer as a main weapon. So you will have a lot of usage out of it, for sure. What new elite spec I'm most excited for? After the blog post, to be honest, I would say it's Evoker. Yeah, I'm actually looking very forward to Evoker. Just because it seems to be like one of the very, very flexible specs. But I will have to see. Maybe I'm just too hyped too much and I will go back to like Troubadour, I don't know, maybe Conduit, stuff like that. We will have to see. I'm excited to try all of them. It's really hard to nail it down. Yeah, it's a first time tier 3 group. Yeah, never judge there. Nice. I haven't finished the timed clock tower yet. I think I have to do it as well. I'm so bad at jumping puzzles, and especially when I'm under pressure from the fog, the green fog, I get so like nervous that I always miss my jumps. It's so bad. I think I did it like a couple of times this year, and every time I was like very happy that I did it, and I think I have to do it a couple of more times to get all of the achievements done. But other than that, I would probably not be like enjoying it that much to farm it 24/7 or even do a challenge for that like Lara does. It's not my type of content. Oh, now the forever talking, very good. Yeah. I'm too slow, and the gliding isn't always a help. Yeah, I think it's really weird that they decided to make the gliding in the stopped clock tower, but in the normal clock tower you cannot glide. I think that's like the one where you have like the time pressure from the fog. You cannot glide. I think that's really weird. Why did they decide that? Why gliding doesn't necessarily make it easier. It makes it like you train, for example, in the stopped clock tower, expecting that gliding is the thing that is happening in the other one as well, and then it's not there. That's very weird to me, but apparently that's what they decided to do. I guess that's how it goes. I can't do the stop clock tower anymore because of gliding. It makes it harder for me. Yeah, I think it's really weird because it's like the jumps are made for someone that doesn't have gliding. So why would you implement gliding without a need for it? You know, it's not like you have to get this gliding or open your glider to get to the specific location. You don't. Can do all the jumps. So it's really weird to me. Absolutely. I still need to play Halloween before it ends. I already missed the 4 wins event. Don't worry, you have like 10 days when the expansion, until the expansion launches, 10 days, and then you still have 7 days. So you have 17 more days. The festival lasts for 4 weeks this year. So you have a lot of time to get all your achievements that you need to get done and stuff. So don't worry, don't worry. Which is really nice that we have 4 weeks of Halloween, because I think it's probably the most popular festival. People like it a lot. And more time of the festival that they like a lot, I guess that's everyone is happy with that. I mean, the same goes for PvP exploit on the Winter State jumping puzzle that boosts. You can skip parts. Yeah, that is true. That's really weird. I think maybe they fix it this year, but that you have this like option to get a movement speed buff from the PvP relic, I think it is. That's just very weird to me, like very weird. And I think they will fix that. I'm pretty sure. It's a common thing that a lot of people did, so I would be very surprised if they won't fix that. I often jump too early. I'm too fast for my own good. yeah, I know that problem. But just like be patient, you know. Always think about what, like, you don't have to rush. You don't have to rush, especially in the stopped one. But even in the other one, you sometimes you have to be a little bit like slower, and you will get it done. If you rush too much, you might do an error and you will fail. But if you are somewhat slow, sometimes you might actually get the jump then. I'm really missing the quickness here. That's probably the main reason why we took so long on all the fights, is because we're like missing a 50% DPS buff. Yeah, that's pretty noticeable. Maybe I should have gone for quickness instead. But I really think if in harder fractals, it's better to have alacrity so that you get your defensive cooldowns back faster. I tried the PvP relic in the tower to see. It messes things up with my brain. All the muscle memory is gone. Yeah, I can imagine. It's really weird. I think it's so weird that this is in the game, that you can do that stuff. I think that's really weird. Yeah, they will fix the Sidearm fight as well. Yeah, I'm having my hope there. No, I'm joking. I think they will never fix the Sidearm fight. I think that's too little amount of like return for the time that they actually spend on that stuff. I think it's maybe if we get like insanely lucky, maybe we get a fractal fight for that. But I highly doubt it, to be honest, at this point. Got my Canicon Gobbler and the Homestead node and the upgrade for the Rich node. That's what I wanted. Other rewards are bonus. Yeah, I think the Canicon Gobbler is like insane. It's like, I bought it here on this account as well. It's just such a good item. It's like, whenever you want to get like the most amount of value for your time that you spend in a game, it's probably the way to do it is with the Candy Corn Gobbler. Like, it's so good. And it's also very accessible because you can just purchase every single year during Halloween, and then you just need candy corn. It's not something that, some resource that you can get quite hard. No, it's really easy to get. Yeah, very, very good. Winter's Day will be fixed after the Doppelganger and Whisper. Maybe. Yeah, it's so crazy. Some of the bugs are like in the game and they will stay there forever, I guess. There we go, we did it. But then the green thing swallows me. Maybe I will try later the timed one again. Need to meditate or something first. That's good, yeah, that's good. I always like, when I feel like I get some like unhappiness coming up because I like just couldn't get the jump anymore or just failed consistently, then I just stop and do something else and come back at a later time, maybe the next day, and I will be good. Okay, so now we will do the achievements. So whoever wants to join, we can do the achievements. We will go for Open Grave, so killing all the mobs in the Solid Ocean Fractal to get a mastery point. We will do the Out of Cluck achievement, which will kill all the chicken in the Urban Battleground Fractal. And we will do the Hollowed Horn Pipe, which is very easy. I'm sad that I haven't done that before. So whoever wants to join, we can do that. I will just list it in the LFG. And then anyone can join. Just, I guess, do it like that. I think the first, is it the first? Let's double check. I think it's still 1. Urban Battleground is still 1. No, it's not 1. Nice. Urban Battleground, it's 4 now. Okay. Thanks, Furco, for joining. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your help. I know you probably have it already. There we go. There we go. So let's catch up in chat and then we will kill all the chicken. You can join at any time. What do you think is the easiest start in group content? Engineer, Ranger, Warrior, or Guardian? That's tough. Choose the one that you like, because I would always start with the DPS build, and if I'm honest, like a full DPS build, there's one. We got one. Nice. First one. We need 10 chicken. So that will take a while to find them. I know where they are roughly, so that's good. But yeah, choose a DPS build that you like, because DPS is, in my opinion, the easiest to actually get into group content. And then I would say just start with like the easy Ice Root Saga strike missions or something like that. Should be completely fine then. Other than that, I would say choose the class that you like and the most the look of. So there is on the wiki a list where all the chickens are, so I will use that later, but for now I will just go here, and there's one, another one. Very good. 2. Always counting here. 2. There should be 3 here in the beginning, so let's double check that. There could be one more here. Yeah, okay, we need 3 chickens, so nice, someone died, that's not good. But yeah, let's catch up in chat. Is it too late to start playing the Halloween event? No, not at all. You have like almost 3 more weeks. Almost 3 more weeks to get this done. So just have fun and play it whenever you have time. It's not a big problem at all. Okay, I think we should like kill this guy now. And let's see what we can get done or after that, because it might not be more than there. Got 2. Welcome, Mr. Broken One. Welcome, welcome. Does anybody know if Visions of Eternity will bring only new elite specs? Like, why are not some way to have kill proof without using the website? Oh, we don't know. Maybe that will come with the core feature update, but I'm not sure if it will actually be there. I think ArenaNet has decided to not put that in the game ever. So I read somewhere that if you use the Kennigan Goblin World vs. World, you only get certain boost. Yes, you cannot get, for example, the armor boost or something like that in there. But I think the overflowing, so the amount of boost that you would, so if you would get an armor boost, it will just go into transformation, so you will not get more value as far as I know, but you have to double check the wiki there. I have never tried it myself. There's another one. 3. There's another one. 4. Okay, okay. Is there someone, some chicken on top here? Maybe. It's really good if you have the thing that you can see all the names. I don't think so. No, I think I got like them. 4, very good. Let's go to the next one. There's another one. Good. 5. Yes, you can get the Bat Infusion from this event. That is correct. I think you're referring to the Night Fury, which is not an infusion. It's a specific like armor skin. It's a shoulder piece as far as I know. So you can get this by just going to the wiki and checking what kind of recipe you need. There we go, another one. They're quite decent, I think. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. I think one more here, and then there should be like 3 in the courtyard. Pretty sure. But yeah, the Bat Infusion is available. Or the Night Fury you can get very easily during the event. It costs some gold, but that's it. No chickens here. No, not good. They do the skip and I'm just like already at the door. Did you get the check-in at the very first tent? Yes, I think I did. If not, I will just go back. I counted 6 so far, so if I will have 9 at the end, then I will just go back. I don't have any problem backtracking. I will not complete this fractal before we will kill all the chickens. I really want to get this done. It's 1 mastery point. It's a rather easy one. So why would I swap? That's the 7th. There's another one here. Very good. Oh my god, the perma CC log. I think in there is also some. No? Maybe later. 8. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. Okay. Let's see. That's a lot of damage in tier 1 already. Already so much damage. It's crazy. I will just, for safety, I will backtrack and see if I find any. Probably not, to be honest. Probably looking like I missed none of them. Oh god. Did someone actually get one? I don't think so. You will see. What's your account name on that one? This is my account name. But chickens already shell-shocked from a siege city? Yeah, it's crazy actually. This is such a mean achievement. Also the other one where you kill all the enemies in the solid ocean fractal is also like, why would you do that? It's just so mean. Yeah. I think there's one in the back of this like building where we can only access if the guy is running out, I think. After boss, check his tower. There's usually one in there. Exactly. I think there's like one after this opening. So double check. I think we're missing like one more would be good enough. We have 8. Let's write it the group. So that everyone is like aware of that. if we have 2 more. If it's only in the beginning, if you are right, if it's really in the beginning. Oh my god, let me move. Please, just let me move. One more before. Because the boss, as soon as you kill the boss, I think the achievement is over. I think you have to complete the achievement before. You have to get the achievement before. If you kill the boss, then it's not counting as far as I know. Okay. We will get there. We will get there. What's the annoying tower in Corteria called? That's part of a quest. You need a group because monsters are so hard. It's the tower of, how is it called? Tower of Nightmares. Yeah, it's horrible. It's really bad because no one plays it anymore. There is none in here. So I either did get it already, or it's not this time, because they not always spawn at the exact same location. We're missing one before the boss. If the boss room also contains one. It's actually crazy. That's actually quite sad. Just a single one that we miss. Where could it be? Okay. Yeah, guide for, I mean, the problem is making a guide for content that is like no one doing. Then the main guide would be like, get a group and get it done, you know, because it's not hard if you have a group, but it's somewhat hard to find a group. So I think it would be somewhat of a challenge to make a content guide for that. I don't know. I think it's some of the outdated content would be nice to make. I even have like missing achievements there as well. So for me, I would definitely like to make content about that, but I need a lot of players to actually make that happen. What's going on here? Very good. I think we just have to maybe. Let's ask if someone else killed a chicken. Yeah, I checked the wiki. Yeah, I checked the wiki, and then also always, if you have like, for example, Towers of Nightmare, if you want to get that done, check the wiki for guides about that. That's not good. Then I have 8. It's really insane that exists, like those like items here. It's crazy. Okay, we have 2 more to go, I guess. Or we can just try to complete it and hope that I just missed one. And someone else killed it. I killed 2 in the courtyard, and I'm missing 1 in the back, I guess. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, in the beginning there should be 3. I'm not sure if I get all of them. There was 1. There was 1. What? What is that? That's actually crazy. What is that? That this is in the game? What? That's crazy. How did you encounter that? Wild. Absolutely wild stuff. Another one. What? They have so much weird stuff. What is that? It's a bunny. What? Okay. Crazy. Okay, let's catch up in chat. You can go back. Yeah, let's kill the boss then. If that's the case, then we can just do the normal boss and then kill the thing. Because it's like it's a bit annoying if you don't know where to go and don't know how many chicken you have. I think we have to get the achievement hopefully very soon. Maybe we have all of them done already. We just don't know it. So we have to complete the fractal to see it. Yeah. Show it off at Tower of Nightmares? I actually could, yeah. This solo build is able of doing it. I'm not joking. That's fun. Maybe it's just some placeholder things that they are in the game, I guess. Wouldn't a perma stealth scrapper be really super speed and stealth scrapper be really cool for this achievement? Good, that one mob. Yeah, that of course it would help a lot. But you can that's why I do it in the lowest possible difficulty, because you can just like ignore most of the mobs. It's really that easy. It's really that easy. It's not that bad. Yeah, you can actually solo the Tower of Nightmares. I think there is a guy on YouTube that actually does only solo the Tower of Nightmares all the time. It's crazy. I think it's like not particularly like rewarding, but you could do it. And it's doable. I'm not sure if that's the most exciting thing to do either, but I guess, yeah. Blizzard could also show, yeah. That's a good point. If we don't find it, we will do it with. That's something that I definitely have in mind. If we need it after, if we don't get it, then we could do the Blizzard add-on. That's a good point. Good point. Yeah, it's actually crazy how much stuff is in the like stuff on Reddit. But I will not engage with any more of that stuff now, because it's like it's very speculative what that actually means. So I will not showcase that anymore, because I don't want to like get unpartnered for showing stuff that is maybe not even like visible to the audience or something. But I think in general, what's in the game is in the game, I guess. Okay, so there should be one in the back. Yeah. Yes, one more there. Nice, we did it. Okay, someone killed it apparently. Very good. Very good. Another one. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. Then we can finally get auto loot. After 100 hours on this account. Not bad. Do you remember that old school toilet paper in Germany? Yeah, that was horrible. Like, really bad. We had that back in school. It's so bad. Yeah. So, there we go. Next up. Open Crave. Still need this chicken achievement too. Next time, if you would have said something, Patricia, we could also like you could also join if you like it. So, Solid Ocean, where is it? 20 is the first Solid Ocean. It's actually crazy. Okay, let's do it then. Let's do it. We just have to kill all of them. That's it. We just have to kill all of them. That's crazy. So much stuff. Very crazy. Yeah, the last chicken was in the last room. So when the boss spawned, that was the last chicken. So we have to kill, I think, do we have to kill all the crabs here as well? I'm not even sure. I did this achievement like over 10 years ago, I think, on my main account. We have to kill all of the mobs here. All of them. I'm not even sure. I guess I will just in case, I will kill all of the crabs, because they are also mobs. I think that's the first island. I'm pretty sure we did everything. Very good. Yeah, somewhat like sandpaper, yeah. All but not the crabs without level. I skipped them. Okay, that's good to know. I mean, we did it anyway, but we have to kill all of the mobs. I think those achievements are completely fine. It's not the most exciting achievement, but it's like, okay, you can do it, I guess. It's way better than some really annoying achievements that can be quite challenging to do as well at some point. So for example, there is one mastery point for getting the how is it called? The swampland fractal done without getting any traps. And the problem is that's not a problem in general, but if you do it with normal groups, and I often have to take care of multiple wisp or something like that, and we have to have sometimes multiple tries, it can be very challenging to get no traps triggered. So I really like killing all mobs. That's not a problem. I will get this way faster. Okay, and I think that should be the last one, because on the last platform they do not count. This should be the last platform, and then we should get it already. Let's see. There we go. I was correct. Apparently they wanted to finish it. That's good. Let's kill it then. The crabs aren't mobs, they are classed as ambient creatures. Okay, that makes sense, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, in general, Swampland is like, for me, a fractal. I think it's a really cool designed fractal. I think it's a little bit annoying at the end. True, let's skip it. But yeah, I think Swampland is, with one exception, one of the rather cool fractals. I think the end boss should be like completely skippable in that regard. You should be like completely say if you're very fast and kill like, or have some kind of fast thing done. Wait 1 second. Yeah, so if the last end boss, so the Bloomhanger, would not have those annoying like time-gated things, then it would be a really cool fractal. I think the puzzles in the beginning can be very challenging for newer players, because it's actually somewhat close to time, and it's also not like the most straightforward to see all the traps and have the positions to go over the walls and stuff like that. But I personally think it's definitely, definitely a rather cool design fractal. It's definitely unique. Definitely unique. What, in your opinion, are the top 3 most fun classes in the game and not boring rotations and fun gameplay? Now we dance. Is it not here? I thought it's here. Maybe you have to dance here. Ah, it's there too. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Is it somewhere down there? Yes, there it is. There we go. We did it. Next mastery point. Very easy. Now we can get finally auto loot unlocked. Look at this. That's insane. It needed only a couple of, let's say, dozens hours to get this. Dozens of hours. Very good. Auto loot. We don't have to press F anymore. I'm free. Let's double check if I enabled it. Nice. I did it. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Very good. We did it. Yeah, it's actually the most important mastery. It's crazy. I'm like actually it's actually insane that I didn't do it yet. Let's check the age of this account. Played this account for 90 hours now. So almost 100 hours, and I got finally auto loot. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. the name of the dance one is called Holo Horn Pipe. Yes. So it's also, I just made the easy 3 that I needed. There are more in the fractal category. So there is, for example, Fancy Footwork, like the ones I mentioned earlier, where you have to do a Swampland fractal without triggering any traps. That can be, I wouldn't say challenging, but it's a little bit more annoying to get done. Then you have Hollow Victory, which is really easy to get done. You just have to go to the master tier and do the Twilight Oasis there. It's really easy. We get it passively, probably. And then you have Subject 6. That's now with the power creep easier than ever. You just have to like, don't let it explode. That's the thing. While also getting it to the maximum. It's doable. It's a little bit gimmicky. You can do it. And then this one is here, like just the volcanic fractal as it is intended to use. So you just don't want to skip the part to skip to the end boss. You just want to do the normal route. But other than that, it's really like, this is probably with the Twilight Oasis one, probably the easiest one to do. So if you need a lot of like core tier and mastery points, I think fractals are probably a very easy way to get them, because you can see I'm still having 4 there. And I need 4 here for the fractal, and the legendary crafting, I don't care. So that's something. But there are other core tier masteries. For example, Silver Vase gives you 5 or 6 even for doing that as well. 7. So you can actually get a lot of them from Silver Vase, for example. If you do any of the story, if you push through the core story, you get also a lot of them. So if you are a story enjoyer or do it for the first time, that's definitely something that's also worth doing. But I don't like that. That's why I lose like 20 mastery points here, obviously, which is quite annoying. So I have to go for the ones that are a bit harder to come by. I wanted to clean my inventory. Very good. No, I will not showcase anymore. I will not showcase anymore. That's not good. I don't want to do that here on stream. Sorry, Viz. Pretty sure I got the Swampland achievement by joining a group mid-run after this part. Yeah, that's a very easy way of doing it, of course. If you just join someone that already has or is like completed most of the run already, you don't have to do the wisps or something, or you just stand still, then you cannot trigger the traps anyway. That stuff, of course, can be done. But I personally would like, if I join, if I can't guarantee it that way. So I just want to probably just do it with the normal way and would say, okay, I will complete it by not triggering any traps and hopefully get it done. It's a bit more of a challenge than just joining a random other group, but I can guarantee that it will work. Okay, let's clean it up a bit here. Okay. Some ascended rings that I want to salvage at some point, but I don't have a salvage kit yet. Let's get some Tomes of Knowledge. Very good. Some spirit shards. Not bad, not bad. Okay. But as usual, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm always happy to answer them. Okay, let's open some chests. Very nice, some loot. You can also purchase some more things here. Fractal keys. The first 30 are always profit. The second one's also. And the last, and then you should probably not do it. But the deeply discounted ones are always profit. So if you do that every single day, you have enough fractal relics for that. Definitely a very, very good way to earn some cash over the long run. If you do any fractals, even if you just open them, the ones that you buy from the trading posts, the boxes, even then you make profit. It's actually crazy. So there we go. Some gold, sell some junk. Would also sell the rings, to be honest. But they are infused. Okay. So, what is this? Skin. So many agony infusions. Wow, that's actually a lot of agony infusions. That's a lot of gold and agony infusions. Okay. Why do I have so many? Good question. Okay, now it looks way cleaner again. That's good. That's very good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just against my nature. In general, it's always like, if I am in a group, I'm try to do my part. And that's why I want to like get the footwork done myself and do the wisp part. But of course you're right. Of course you're right. If I want to get the achievement, I just stand there and just let the other 4 people do the wisps, and then I will get the achievement. It's not a very nice way of doing it, but I guess you can do it like that. Good point. Yes, hydrate. Good point. Thanks for the reminder, Patricia. Welcome, Loco. Welcome, welcome. You never know who joins groups. So I always expect people to not do the mechanics correctly, and I try to do them myself. That's typically what I would just expect from normal pack groups. Is Saturday mornings the worst time to PvP? I get clickers in my team. I would say I noticed that on the weekends in general, the game quality is a little bit like you never know what you get, even more than under the week, because on the weekends they play people that have the tendency to be like not as try hard as during the week, but it's really hard to judge. To be honest, PvP for me is like always hit and miss. Like you will see in this match, maybe I have a fair match, maybe I have a completely crazy stomp. You never know. Even though I played like a couple of ranked matches on this account as well, you never know. For example, yesterday, I'm currently in like on this account here in gold 2, almost in gold 3. I have a 86% win rate, 25 wins and 5 loses, yeah, on this account. And I yesterday played against San and their duo queue partner, yeah. So the top 3 player, yeah. Even though I was gold 2. So it's like, what? This is like, the matchmaking is like really like scuffed. Guild Wars 2 population and Guild Wars 2 PvP specifically, the population is so low that you have like sometimes people playing the first ranked match and queuing against the top rated player. It's really, the population in PvP is really low. So that means you just try to get better, try to have fun, and don't care about rating. That's my tip there. If you care about rating, it will probably ruin the fun. That's just how it goes, I guess. I'm good, Wolf. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm from Germany. That's where my accent comes from. How long does it take for weekly World vs. World? So if you want to get all the World vs. World chests, so all the rewards that you get there, so up to the diamond chest, it takes like a lot. It takes like, I would say, depending on how many pips you get, around like 10 hours. No, more than 10 hours typically. It takes quite a while. It's actually nowadays faster than ever, but it's definitely something that is quite slow, especially if your team is losing. So if your team is always 3rd place, you get less pips. Yes, that can be quite a long ride. Yeah, really, ranking in Guild Wars 2 is like, it doesn't have any value. It's really like, it's just like you get a title at the end if you are like high rated, but other than that, it's just like try to have fun. Rating is really irrelevant. It has no value in that meaning. It's just personal value. And I think that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, apparently it's still higher than raids, at least when the developer that mentioned that really told us that. Yes, apparently PvP, general PvP population is higher than the general raid population, which is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Because you think about it like that. In PvP, you notice that the population is very low because you have crazy, like uneven matches. But in raids, you don't notice it that much. But apparently it's even lower. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I got chickens in my team. I don't know. We will see. We will see. For now, we have a core necromancer, willbender. Is that a support tempest? If that's a support tempest, we have actually a really good team comp, like for ranked match. We will see. We will see. I don't care. I just play Reaper all the time and see how we can make this work. I don't expect anything, you know. It's just like gold match. You never know what you get. The only reason I play ranked PvP is for the boxes. Yeah, I mean that's completely fair. I think the rewards in ranked are better than in unranked. So there is like, okay, this is a little bit annoying. Nice, we got the transfer. It is actually a support Tempest. That's actually crazy. I never saw a support Tempest in my 20 matches that I played ranked on this account. Very good. That was a nasty pull. I just like in the last second got the... Nice, we got the Willbender. Nice, 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 nice. Get some CC. That's a very slow fight here. It's also a support Tempest, I think. It's crazy. Completely different. I should just go for the cap, I guess. Nice, we got all three with the corrupt. That's what we like. Very good. It's a classic 5 versus 5, but we have the map. It's good. Can we get a kill here? Our Willbender is going hard. Okay, okay. Oh, they decapped both of our points. At least we got a kill now, but it maybe want to get a cliff. Yeah, that's quite annoying, actually. We might lose this now. I have to do something about it. Okay, that was rather good that my Tempest helped me here. Otherwise, we might have died. I have to kill this guy. It's annoying me. They have a support. That's actually such a close match. It's actually surprising. It's very surprising. Yeah, that was supposed to happen without stun breaks. Yeah, it's fine. We can win this. We can win this, but it's annoying. That's like so many CCs here. We can win this. We can win this. I will try PvP soon. Need some PvP console for Aurora, but I was planning on doing PvP anyway. Yeah, I think PvP, if you have the mindset of just trying to have fun, trying to get some currency and don't care about the rating or stuff, I think PvP in Guild Wars 2 is actually a fun game mode. I play it almost every day because it's somewhat like you can outplay opponents, you can have some fun. It's very short-lived. It's not something that you have like to commit like hours. Okay, there are 4 people here, which is a little bit annoying. Maybe we could get the rest here, to be honest. It's just a Tempest. Yep, there we go. That was a weird interaction, but okay. That's a CC warrior, which is obviously for me one of the worst things imaginable. We have to get the decap here. Okay. Did they get stillness? Yes, so we get decap here and help our team. That's very good, we get the kill here, nice. We have to be a bit careful because the Tempest might actually be there. Yeah, there it is. Okay, some damage out. Like baiting a lot of dodges, that's the best thing that you can do here. Nice, we get the Tempest here now. Okay. But we have to get the decap on the other side of the map. No, it's actually our close. It's crazy. Okay, okay. Don't be scared. Just get in, have fun. You should not care about PvP winning or losing. Just try to get better. If you want to have fun, just play the game out and you will at some point. Okay, there are inventions. That's good. Cannot cap the node then. I will push far now, even though I'm not a 1-on-1 build. Should be able to get this. Who is it? Okay, it's the thief. That's good. I can get this for sure. It's an easy kill, to be honest. Okay. Pistol thief. Pistol bound thief. That's crazy. There we go. They will pot and point. I will instantly get the stomp then. Apparently they don't pot and point because the warrior arrives. The CC warrior will kill me now. That's unlucky, but we got 2 points at least. That's good. That's good enough. Unranked rewards don't exist. Exactly. It's just play ranked as soon as you get there. It's really like very important. Sure, but a raid wing is about 30 minutes to 1 hour, and that's just too long. Like a strike is 5 minutes, or practice including SAMs is about 1.5 hours. I personally think like the new raid rewards is that you can just like go, for example, and play raids a single boss when the expansion drops and the new map or the new... What is this? Stop it. Okay, good. I get this, I guess. I will just go for the decap here. I think we're in a good spot now. If my team just holds the bottom buff, we are in a very good spot here. Very nice. Yeah, but I think the new update with the merging and that you can directly say I want to play Sarah and don't want to play Keep Constraint or something, that makes it very, like, way shorter to get into a specific fight, and it will only take 10 minutes instead of half an hour for one raid wing. I think that's good. I like that. We got it, the bottom buff as well. It's crazy. Crazy. We won the match. Almost. Almost surely. Okay, they go for the decap here. I guess they can do that. Let's bait a dodge. There are 3 people here. What is my team doing? How am I against 3 people and they are chasing 1 guardian? It's actually crazy. It's fine. It's fine. It's crazy because I was a PvP veteran in Final Fantasy XIV, but I think Guild Wars 2 has an insane skill ceiling. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2, specifically PvP, but all game modes actually, are extremely, like, the skill ceiling is high. It's extremely high. Most players will never even get close to the skill ceiling. And you notice that the most in PvP, because in PvP you can just, like, if someone is like good at PvP, they will just completely destroy you. It doesn't matter what kind of build they are playing. They will just destroy you. And that's like PvP can be very frustrating because of that for a lot of players. Because you have to be somewhat decent to win against someone that is also like somewhat decent. You will never be able to win if you are bad at the game and the enemy is just slightly better. It's just almost impossible. And that's definitely something that is a little bit challenging for new players to get into. But if you like this, like that you can outplay opponents, that you can just see, okay, I did this mistake and next time I will learn something from that and hopefully I will get better and then hopefully will be able to win the match instead that I might have lost earlier. Get the... Nice. This guy should be dead. Oh, come on. The CC of the Bonk Warrior is so annoying. It's especially as a Reaper here. Please pull me out of the ring. Okay. Don't want to. It's actually insane. The emob here into this. Oh my god. I mean, we have like over 200 points ahead, so it should be fine. Is there in vengeance? Yes. I guess we get the kill as well. Pistol works in PvP? I mean, the question is, what do you define as works? I would say it doesn't work because they lost the 1-on-1, but I guess if you want to play it, I mean, it's not like there are worse builds to play. There are worse builds to play for sure. Very good, we won. Okay, let's do another one that was actually quite fun. Quite an intense match. And we need to get some more tickets anyway. Oh, we can't get it. Nice. So what do we get here from the Wizard's Wall? I guess we can get those. And I guess those. Just purchase everything that can be useful at some point. Build template expansions, I guess. Yep. Never purchase those. I guess bag of coins could always be useful. Just some gold. I should also do some kinfoil fractal, to be honest. One more to get a little bit more gold. We will do that later as well. But yeah, very nice. You see how many rewards you get here. And just how much gold was that? It is okay, 20 gold, not too bad. In Final Fantasy, our classes are fairly simple, but it's more about map awareness and strategy and positioning. Yeah, in Guild Wars 2, it's about knowing what build you play, knowing what build the enemy plays, knowing the rotation aspect, knowing awareness of how many people are alive, where you have to push rotations. Then you also have to understand the map itself. So why does a buff spawn at this time? There's so much stuff to learn about the game. And then, of course, you also have to understand how to play in general. How can you make a dodge work in the correct timing or something? It's crazy. Guild Wars 2 is a lot of skill thing to understand, for sure. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Do you already have the Astral Ward Arsenal achievement? Yes, I do. I got it already. Yes, very nice. I'm playing PvP for the Legendary Backpack and for the dailies and weeklies. Yes. I'm pretty new and some necromancers destroy me in 2 seconds. I think that doesn't matter what kind of build you are playing or the enemy plays. If you're new, you will always encounter something that will just be unknown to you and you will just get destroyed. That's completely fine. Just try to be in a mindset and say, okay, that happens. I will try to get better next time. I will try to see what happened. I will try to understand why I died, why I did a mistake or something, and slowly improve. And the same goes for me. I played the game for over 10 years. I still have this mindset of when I lose, I try to understand, how did I actually lose? What was the problem? How can I do it better next time? I think if you have this mindset, you should actually improve consistently. That's really important. Yeah, I think Final Fantasy and Guild Wars 2 combat are not completely different, but are somewhat different. I think Guild Wars 2's combat is very fluid and very dynamic. You have to do a lot about movement while casting. You have a lot of skills that you have to combine and understand how they work. In Final Fantasy, I think it's way more linear. I played a little bit of it. I didn't play not even close to the amount of the Guild Wars 2 playtime, but I think that it's way more about understanding what your attacks do, and just there is this attack happening, I counter it with this attack. It's not that much about positioning while casting, while dodging, while doing something else with an instant cast. I think in Guild Wars 2 it's way more complexity because there are so many layers, and in Final Fantasy I think the layers are quite thin. There are not that many layers, I would say. But maybe someone is in the chat that knows more about that. But I personally think that's a good description, I guess, for me. How do you get rewards from the chest without it popping on the screen? You can right-click the chests. If you right-click them instead of left-clicking, that means that you will instantly accept it. It goes for 90% of the chests, yes. PvP in Final Fantasy is way more popular since they made it easy to jump into and classes are easy to play. I think that is really good. I think if they would do that in Guild Wars 2 as well, that would be awesome. I think we need more players in PvP and that would help it a lot to make it easier to get into it. But I think they tried it with push and to some extent failed because push is existing and not a lot of people playing it. That's a little bit sad. And it didn't even bring that many people into PvP, I guess. But I think Final Fantasy is cool. I like the game. I think it's different than Guild Wars 2 in many regards. And I think it's way more focused on the classic MMO aspects. So raids, group content, way less focused on stuff like Guild Wars 2, like competitive modes, or way less focused on open world content. Even though it has it, it's not focused on that. I think it's a completely different game. And maybe I have to do some streams with Final Fantasy at some point as well. We will see. We will see. But for now, expansion. I'm hyped for Guild Wars 2 anyway. Yeah. Worst build would be Pistol Mechanist. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't play Mechanist in PvP. Don't do that to me. That is definitely probably the worst spec in the game. It's Avatar. That's not that good. Do we have any good player? Quattro. Okay. Mitsos. Okay. We actually it is actually again like we have some platinum players in here. Always a little bit of like a gamble what kind of other players we have, but we will see. We will see. It's at least a team fighting map, but they have a support potentially, so that's not that nice. We will see. We will see. And it also has to do something against the toxicity and win traders. I think the win traders in Guild Wars 2 are like nowadays no one cares. I have the feeling like in PvP no one cares about like ranked anymore or like the leaderboard. I think there is like look at Tsukaya, like San. Those people, they are on top here. They don't win trade. They are just playing. Look at those numbers. They just play and just are on top here. I would say the only issue is that you have so little amount of population that you can heavily abuse the system. That you can say I queue with a friend at 2 a.m. in the night on a Wednesday or something like that when no one else is playing and I can carry and win every single match. That's the problem. That you can like have a like 110 to 10 win ratio even and be ranked 1 just because you abuse the system. I think that's more of an issue. But I'm not sure how you can fix this, to be honest. I really don't know. I'm hoping to see a similar event like fractal incursions for PvP. That would be really good. That would be so fun, actually. But I'm not sure when they will do that and if they will ever do that, or if they focus more on open world and like maybe raid event or something like that. Yeah, all of them. Okay, there are some. Yeah, I mean, rank 1 is like worth nothing. It's just like, it's really just an achievement for yourself. If you like that, then get it. But it's not, you should not say, oh my god, this guy is rank 1, because there are some people rank 1 that didn't deserve it or just bought it straight up. Yeah, sure. But who cares? I think Guild Wars 2 is like in a state, just try to have fun in PvP. That's the only thing that matters. Come on, get the kill here. Okay. I think we will actually stomp this match, to be honest. Looks like we won everything. Isn't the weekly quest for PvP kinda enough encouragement to get into PvP? I would say so, personally. Yes, I would say so. I think personally one of the easiest way to get the Wizard's World done is by doing the PvP like weekly achievements. Like those weekly achievements are extremely easy, as well as dailies. I personally think that's like one of the best things to get done in Guild Wars 2 for the like time that you spend there, is probably just the weekly and daily PvP. Of course, you have to some extent like it. If you don't like it at all, that's obviously not something that you should engage with. But if you don't mind it or like it even, then it's, in my opinion, a very, very good way of getting the Wizard's World done. For sure, good point. But I think it would be even better if you had like an incentive, like for example, that you did with the Fractal event. That some people just never played PvP, and with very, very good rewards added to PvP for like a couple of weeks, people will play it. I think that is definitely something that would help at least in the short run. Yeah. If they added some sort of compensation for winning games, quality would be better. People just go in and flip a coin and don't really care if they win or lose. I think it's really hard to make this as like make it so that people are incentivized to win very hard, because then there would be more toxicity in a way as well, and you could also abuse the system. So I think for me, I would agree. I think it would be awesome to make it so that you winning a match gives you, I don't know, double the rewards than losing it. That would be good. But the problem is you could easily abuse this and or could like be very toxic, and they don't want to have PvP getting more toxic than it already is. So it's really hard to find a balance where it's rewarding and fun to play, but also not like hard to get into and not toxic. I think it's really challenging. I don't want to be in their shoes. And I think they just said, okay, PvP is a side niche game mode. We play that, yes, but it's not, or we keep it like balanced and stuff to some extent, but we will not commit a lot of time and effort to play this game or to make this game mode very much alive. I think that's how they currently see it, at least. I would say that. I'm a little bit sad about it because I really enjoy PvP in Guild Wars 2. I think it's probably the best MMO when it comes to PvP. But yeah, it doesn't help that like no one plays it or almost no one plays it. At least at a very high level. Yeah. What do you think of Elementalist? Just tried it out after maining Daredevil and it's so fun. What elite spec of Elementalist is the best if I prioritize mobility and power? I would say then you would probably want to play Catalyst. Catalyst is probably the most mobile and most like power focused spec that you have. You can play Dagger or Scepter or even Spear. All of them are very mobile and somewhat like very power heavy and very nice damage and just very good in general in all game modes. And yeah, it's really, really fun. Would give it a try. And if you enjoy Elemental, it's definitely something that you should take a look of. It's also probably one of the best Elemental specs right now. With Evoker coming up, that might change, but for now, it's looking quite strong. From my limited understanding, most people play some sort of bruisery type in PvP, like a balance of damage and survivability, and full glass cannons can carry hard, but are more punishing to play. So in Guild Wars 2 PvP, it's like, it's not something like, best example is if you play League of Legends, yeah? You have an AD carry and you have a full tank. And they typically have completely different build setups, but you cannot play, I don't know, Cyan, if you know that, it's a tank on the top lane. You cannot play this guy as an AD carry. Yeah, this just does not work. That's just not how it's designed. In Guild Wars 2, it's way harder to make any assumptions about builds because it's way more often that you just say, okay, a build can, for example, Willbender here. Typically, Willbender would be a full DPS spec, but nowadays it's more of a bruisery spec because they take a different trade line. So it's a lot of stuff in Guild Wars 2 can be adjusted, can be changed, and then you have something that is normally very class cannon-y. You have something that is actually not that like squishy anymore because you took a different trade line. That's the weird part about Guild Wars 2, and the cool part that is not just by playing a Willbender doesn't mean you have to be the classiest thing in the world. No, you can play a different trade line, a different amulet or something, and be actually way more bruiser heavy. So that's just Guild Wars 2 is very focused on build crafting, focused on trying to make different things work. And that's why I think it's a lot of builds have some kind of damage output and have some kind of survivability. And there is some kind of like, oftentimes you have builds that are very defensive, have less damage, and then you have builds that are more offensive and have less defenses. But it's not necessary that, like, for example, Holosmith has amazing defenses right now because it has a lot of blocks and like just blinds and stuff like that, dazes, while also having very good offense. So that makes a really strong build right now, is that it has both to a very high degree. But yes, you're right, of course. Even the full glass cannon builds typically are not focused only on dealing damage, but they also have some defenses in them. Yes, absolutely. I've seen too many bots in PvP, won't touch it again. Yeah, it happens sometimes, but I don't see that often, to be honest. As soon as you get to a rather high rating, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. So let's see what we can do. We want to get either 70 or... where is it? 38. Okay. Yeah, let's do... let's do 38 then, I guess. I really want to get the kinfoil done. The toxicity, to be honest, toxicity exists in any competitive game. Absolutely. I think that's just the problem of like people want to win. It's always a problem that you as a player encounter other players that want to win more or that are more ambitious and are in that regard not that caring about the opinion of other players and just say you are bad at the game, sometimes even without having any like real reason to say that. And that's just happening in toxicity in competitive games. That's true, that happens. I think that's not a good thing, but it is a fair point. Yeah. But yeah, that's, I would say in PvE games, not as often the case, but even there is some toxicity. I would say just ignore it. Yeah, just ignore it most of the time. How is the stream going? I'm good, Loopy. I think it's a nice stream. We have some nice stuff to debate, and we also made some good progress. I finally have auto loot. That's probably one of the best things that I got this stream. So I'm quite happy with that. Other than that, yeah, just enjoying myself, yeah. From what I understand, Ainit is not enforcing punishable behavior. Yeah, it's really sad, because if you like report someone, yeah, you have not that many options, yeah, and the ones that you have are also really weird, because if someone is toxic or something, or is like even win trading, for example, it's not even in here. It doesn't exist. PvP has maybe a different option set, but it doesn't change too much of how the reporting is going, which is really weird. So yes, I think in PvP one of the biggest issues is that Guild Wars 2 is not really following up on like all the possible negative behaviors, and the specifically toxicity is not always, or like going AFK mid-match or something like that is not always something that is like actually punished, which is a big problem. Yeah, absolutely. But I think if, for example, if you look at the top PvP players, I think one of the criteria, I'm joking a little bit here, but one of the criteria of being a monthly AT winner is that you have to have at least one account being banned by Ainit. Because it's like a lot of those players are actually toxic or have some kind of negative behavior in the game, and they get banned for that. So I think in Guild Wars 2, it's like they follow up on some of the stuff, but not all of the toxic stuff. So I totally agree. I think they should improve on that. They should try to get more, yeah, just make it a little bit more so that players actually are behaving nicely. But yeah, it's not, it's really hard. It's really hard, because it's obviously not the main focus of the game. Absolutely not. Yeah, it was very painful without auto-looting, but now we have it. Now we don't have to press F anymore. I mean, I guess sometimes, but not that, only to rest someone, I guess. Not to get the loot anymore. That's good. Very good, actually. And you look at this. We are two people here. We have a Herald, a Condi Herald, and we have a... Oh, I have to activate the auto loot. I have to remember that. Where is it? Is it that auto loot? Nice. That's what we wanted. Very good. We have it. Very nice. That's a little bit annoying that you have to activate it and don't have to like get it directly, but yes, that's good. That's good. Final Fantasy tried to solve that problem by disabling chat in their push game mode. Instead, you have emotes, but people would spam good job emote if a teammate died, so people still found a way to be toxic. Yeah, I think it's really hard. I think competitive games in specific, or like competitive game modes, it's really challenging to make it so that people behave nicely while also having some form of communication, because after all, if you have a team play, you want to actually also communicate. So why, if you disable chat completely or have no way of communicating with each other, that's a problem. Yeah, I want to tell my people I will push far, but please don't help me there or something. If I cannot tell them that because we don't have any chat or have no way of communicating via emotes or something, that's bad as well. But you can always, when you can communicate, find a way to make it negative. That's just, humans are very creative when it comes to being offensive, and that's just very sad. But that's just how it is. I think it's really hard to, as a game community, to make a competitive mode or game that is not having any toxicity. I think that's very challenging. Do you have a lab build for Ranger? I would say you go for Untamed with a longbow and try to share quickness via your Unleash skills. So that's the typical build I would go for. Other than that, I'm not so sure. I think Ranger is one of the rather weak specs for Labyrinth farming. It's not bad. It's not like horrible. You can still make it work, but it's better to probably play Untamed or play another spec if you want to have the absolute best build. But Untamed with a longbow, that's what I would recommend. I have another one. Very nice. Nice, we did. I was enjoying World vs. World for a few weeks until our matchup was the one those huge guilds had camps and spawns with a big circ. Yeah, sometimes the matchups are horrible, like absolutely horrible. Sometimes it feels really good. I think like yesterday's reset was really nice. I had some fun there, or like I saw some really big engagement there. But when it came to like the week before, it was very bad. We were always stomped. There were like no players in our team that were alive and running around, and the enemy team was like doing crazy amounts of like interactions. So it's really weird. Sometimes it's heavily dependent on the matchup. That's just the new alliance system in a nutshell. It's a little bit, yeah, not the best in that regard. Can be very hit or miss for sure. I usually just ignore and never engage in toxicity. I also just laugh to myself. It's just funny to imagine someone raging at their screen. I agree. I think that's the best mindset to have for any competitive game, is try to be like, I want to have fun. If the other players are like, want to rage, let them, but don't let that affect your mood. I think that's the best possible way to interact with that. I think it's sometimes hard. It can be really challenging if someone like offends you directly in chat or something. That can be quite sad. But I personally think it's the healthiest way to interact with games in general. Just try to have your own mindset of trying to be getting better at the game. But if you do a mistake, that happens. And if someone else did a mistake, that happens as well. Don't flame them. Maybe be nice and tell them what the mistake was, maybe, if you can do that in a nice way. But oftentimes just accept it. Change what you can change, which is your own gameplay. And that's probably the best thing you can do. But enforcing your own rules in a game is important. People feel that Arena doesn't care. That obviously isn't good for the game mode. Absolutely. I think that's really a big issue that they had in the past, specifically, that they didn't ban players that regularly. Nowadays, I think it's way better. I personally, for example, had in the last year never encountered any bots in PvP anymore, because that was something that a lot of people criticized, that there were a lot of bots. I think they did manage to get this issue solved, but some people in chat always say, there are still bots out there. I don't know. I don't encounter them, at least. So in general, I would say, yes, you're right. They should enforce more of their reporting rules and stuff like that, for sure. But I think it has gotten better, at least. That's what I really think so, yeah. Guild Wars 2 misses mute all function. I guess, yeah. I guess you should have like a way to like disable. I mean, you can always close the chat and say like you never see it, or can completely disable it. You can do that, and that can help. But or you can just block the players if you have someone that is really offending you. But it's definitely not something that is like perfect. Yeah, I agree. I think the chat it could be optimized for that. But like I said, PvP is not the focus of the developers, so it's to some extent quite unlikely that they will make some big changes like that, or somewhat big changes. I think if you want to have fun, a ranked game shouldn't be it. You go and play. In Guild Wars 2, it's said that ranked and unranked have different rewards, so you meet tryhards and for fun players. I think the problem is that there are like 10% tryhard players in ranked, and most of the other players are just like, oh, I want to have fun in the game and just get the most amount of rewards. That's what typically what most players do. Nice, you got the chest auto looted. That's so good. Nice. But yeah, I agree. I think it's, to be honest, like rewards, it might be a hot take, but I don't know. The problem is unranked. If unranked would have the same rewards as ranked, you would have a split player base. The player base nowadays is not as split because most players go for the bigger rewards and go for ranked. But if you have even less people queuing for ranked, that would be very, very bad. Yeah, because then it's even worse than it was before. Then you have even worse merge quality. That's not good. That's not good. So I think it's really hard to find a middle ground there. I don't know how to solve that, to be honest. To get good rewards, but not have tryhards meeting with for fun players. I don't know. It's really challenging. I really like Guild Wars 2, but getting knocked down for 2-3 seconds or having no stability in the correct moment is the worst feeling of overall MMOs out there. Yeah, but Guild Wars 2 has a lot of stun breaks. I think in Guild Wars 2, it's like, I think it's way less punishing if you know how to play, because you have a lot of times a stun break. You have another stun break. You can provide some stability or stuff like that. But I think it's more like the skill ceiling is very high. In other games, you have a skill and you press another skill to counter it. In Guild Wars 2, that's not the case. Oftentimes you have like 5 maybe 10 ways to counteract specific things. It's just about knowledge and understanding of the game. And that's very challenging to get into. That's why it's very frustrating for new player to get into a specific, especially PvP mode. But it's also way more like rewarding if you can actually get it, nail it, so to say. That's at least my opinion. I think it's really fun if you can get it done, if you can get better at it. At least for me it was. Yes, you can lose rating and ranked if you lose, yes. We should be able to punish slackers in meta events. It's so annoying seeing a bunch of people sitting there. Yeah, I think if someone goes AFK during a meta event, you should be able to report them for leeching. I think that's also toxic, absolutely. I think for me, it's one of the most toxic things you can do in PvE is just being passive and not doing anything and just getting the rewards anyway. I think that's one of the worst things, absolutely. Yeah, fair point. Okay, we have another stack of those we can sell, very good. Actually, I just made a PvP chat channel with only game notifications enabled. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, you can also change the channels. Right, let me show it here. You can change the channels that you showcase, and you can just say, okay, I don't want to have any map chat, any sage chat, and stuff like that, and you disable all of that if you don't want to have any toxicity, and just say, I want to have the in-game messages or something. Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Good point. You could have kept going in the group if you want to push for higher fractal level. Yeah, I guess the question is if yeah, let's do a little bit more, I guess, if you want. Yeah. Okay, let's push for fractal level. Let's do that. So what is my fractal level actually? There we go, let's do that. If someone wants to join, we will just push the fractal level a bit higher. And we will see what we can get done. Let's sell some stuff. And later I also wanted to do a count tour, what I achieved on this account in like roughly 100 hours. What you can get done. That's what I also wanted to do. Summer says, I'm not the biggest Mad King, I guess, but maybe at some point, yeah. It's a fun idea. It's a fun idea. The problem is unranked has no rewards. Yeah, I think. How would you balance that? How would you give unranked rewards that are incentivizing players to play unranked, but make it so that ranked is still populated? I have no idea how you would make that happen. I really don't know. Would that be something that you would say is like the only way, or is there another way? But if this is the only way, how would you balance it? It's really challenging. I don't want to be the developer that like thinks about that. I really don't. I think PvP measures diminishing returns on CC. I got super roasted for that opinion in the forum though. I don't know. I feel like the problem is often that a new player finds this a very big problem, like CC and stuff. But if you look at me, for example, one of the things that I never like have an issue with is like being CC locked and dying because of that. The issue is not that I'm CC locked. The issue is that I was in the wrong position and did the wrong play anyway. Yeah. So for me, if I'm playing, for example, my Condi Reaper that I just played, and I used my only stun break way too early, or I used it just at the wrong moment in general, then it's my fault. Yeah. So yes, you're right. A CC that lasts for 4 seconds, it's nasty. But if you have a correct build, you typically have at least one stun break. And if you don't use it for a CC that only lasts half a second, but you use it for a CC that lasts 4 seconds, then I think it's not as punishing. But the problem is a new player doesn't know that. So I totally get why you're saying there should be some diminishing returns so that a player that is not as experienced as I am doesn't get as punished. Yeah, so just saying that this is probably the issue here. It's really hard to find a way that experienced players and new players can also like the same system. Yeah. That's good. That's very good, Loopy. Happy to hear that. Yeah, tier 5 mats are really, really cheap. 1 second. I don't know. I think game development is very challenging, Patricia. It's always easy to say as a player, this and that should be changed. But when you are the one to make the change and implement the change, I think that's very hard to make it correct. I think it's always a lot of iterating that you have to do. And even after the 10th iteration step, I think it's quite challenging to find the perfect sweet spot. Yeah. Just saying, yeah. It's fine if you're doing your stuff meanwhile DE escort and pump on so on. Very nice. 99. I will not do 99. I will die instantly to the first agony tick. No. Okay, let's do I guess some. Let's do some of that. Do some Tomanova, I guess. I play Poison Soul Beast right now with 6 sets of stability and 2 stun breaks, and I really have issues whenever I get on point or in melee. I just CC it all the time. I also CC the enemy all the time. So I'm not whining about losing, dying. I just find it very frustrating and unfun. I think that is a totally fair point. Absolutely. But the thing is it something that is like needs to be changed, or is that like your personal opinion in that regard, that you would say that this should not exist in games? Because that's something that the developers have to decide for themselves. Do they want stuff like that in the game, or do they think it's something that is like just how Guild Wars 2 plays out in the end? Yeah. I personally would say if you have enough stun breaks in the meta, if you have the CC skills on a long enough cooldown, that it actually makes sense. Why not? Yeah, why not? But the thing is, I totally get your point that especially if you are someone that doesn't like that, it can be very, very frustrating to play with it. So can you find a sweet spot there to make it so that it actually is a very somewhat useful idea to have CC and stun breaks in the game, but also make it so that it's not as frustrating that you get CC locked for 10 seconds straight? It's quite like not something that is trivial to solve. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not saying that CC locking is good. I'm just saying I don't have that many issues personally with it. That's good. That's good. The technical post mentioned millions of lines of code. Exactly. It's like Guild Wars 2 is such a big game. It's really hard to get everything right. Absolutely. How do you see class balancing at the moment? And when is a class balanced in your opinion? That's a really big topic. So I personally would say in PvE, classes are very well balanced right now. Every single class has a build that is absolutely strong, multiple builds even. Every single elite spec is playable in PvE to the highest level. I think to some extent Warrior, Revenant and Thief need some kind of buffs to it, to their class, so that they are a bit more flexible, because the current mechanics of the game are just a little bit like they feel punishing in that regard. That they are just not as flexible, those 3 specific classes, with the exception of Spectre. And that's not something that you necessarily want. You want to have a game mode that is like you can play all the classes because they are somewhat good. But they are not as good if you have, for example, compare them to Chronomancer, Firebrand and stuff. There's always something that's better, but I think the discrepancy right now in flexibility, with the exception of Spectre for Thief, Revenant and Warrior, is a little bit quite big. So I think that should be addressed to some extent, but other than that, I think PvE balance is awesome. It's really, really good. It's probably the best since the game came out. When it comes to competitive modes, I think it's a little bit like hit or miss. Some of the times it's quite good. Some of the times they make a horrible decision and you have like 4 or 5 Scourges in a PvP match. I think it's like PvP needs a lot more changes. Like let's say every 2 months there should be a balance patch that is only addressing PvP balance. That's my opinion. I think that would be way more entertaining. We could make some drastic changes and people will still play the game mode because they know in 2 months the build that they liked before might be back again. I don't know. But nowadays it feels like, for example, Holosmith before the patch, last balance patch, was like years of not being played. Now it's back, but before then it was like years since it got like decent balance. So I think the biggest issue for competitive modes is that the balance patches are too either small or too rarely actually done. Yeah. So in general, I think balance in Guild Wars 2 is going in the right direction, especially in PvE, but it needs a little bit more engagement, and maybe more patches in general would help as well. Reworks is something that I always want to mention as well. I think reworking stuff is like awesome if they could do that. Like just reworking more stuff that they, like just more reworks is something that I think is like, would be awesome. No, that was quite close to be honest, but we made it. Oh, someone else did it already, what? No, I wanted to get it. It is. I think they should do something about these changes. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, maybe they should. Maybe you're right. I'm just saying, for me personally, it's not a big issue, but maybe if it's a big issue for a lot of the community, they should do something. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, if PvP, especially if they're like counterplaying other builds, is quite annoying, then PvP is not fun for a lot of players, and then we have less population than usual, and that's not good. That's definitely not good. There's no one there. Was especially talking about Warrior Thief, share your opinion? Yeah, I think like, let's say, maybe, that might be a hot take, but maybe giving Warriors some kind of unique buff spec with the banners would be awesome. That you could say, okay, this Warrior banner gives 100 ferocity to the subgroup or something. Yeah, so a unique buff that incentivizes players to take a Warrior, even though it doesn't have anything you need other than a banner. I think that would be good. Maybe that's a hot take, but I think that would be nice. And I think Thief maybe gives some like identity to Daredevil and Deadeye, because Spectre is an awesome build, just straight up. However, Deadeye and Daredevil are just like straight up power or corner DPS builds. They don't have that much going for them. And if you play Deadeye as a quick DPS, it provides quickness. That's it. So I think there should be some balance around uniqueness, identity, something that makes it like worthwhile to play above something else on a specific fight other than just the damage. I don't know. Maybe that's just me asking for too much, but I think that's a good dodge. But yeah. No, still no parrot. Still no parrot. World vs. World barely gets updated. Yeah, I think it's really weird that some of the game modes, especially World vs. World, the balance patches are like, sometimes they make a really big World vs. World balance patch. They change like completely, for example, removing a legacy. Yeah. Yeah, they just like make one change for half a year that changes the game mode quite somewhat drastically, and then they never go back and do anything with World vs. World for the next half a year. I think that's too little. I think the competitive modes live a lot from getting new builds, new stuff to actually engage with and try out. There is not any new content that we get, but it's not enough balance either. So I think that's a big issue. But I think the specs are quite fun and quite fine in that week. Okay, let's concentrate. I have to count to 3. I'm the third person to do it. That was the first one. That's the hardest part about this whole fractal, is counting to 3. Or counting to the number that you are like supposed to do. That's the second one. Next one will be me. Okay. Okay, next it's 1 again, very good, or 4, I guess. We did it, almost. Nice, very nice, very nice. No, I'm only streaming on Saturdays right now. I have a lot of work to do with my stuff, setting up for the expansion, getting videos out. It's just Saturdays right now. A temporary health buff for Warrior, like 20 plus 20% HP buff. Oh, that would be really cool. Some kind of like giving you like a moment where you can tank a little bit more, where you don't have to dodge all of the attacks. I think that's quite fun. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a cool idea. Oh, we can do the Swampland achievement. We could do the Swampland achievement if they do it. We will try. But that's a really cool idea, I like that. It's obviously quite hard to balance because especially in competitive modes that might be absolutely busted. If you give someone like 20% more HP for the next few seconds, that means that they can go ham and will not like get punished for it that much. I think that is something that is... Ooh, it could be quite challenging to balance, but for PvE, I think that's a really cool buff. Yeah, for me to have a class balance, there have to be something that what makes them special and opportunistic, like having a power and a Condi build, a playable one, not like Condi Circa. I agree. I think their class balance is not only about having a spec that is playable, but also having a spec that is unique in a way that you can say, okay, that you have a spec that is unique and has a specific strength. I personally always the biggest, like, I would always promote a class being, for example, that might be a very hot take, but having a class like Condition Mirage being very good at a, like, let's say 5 fights in the whole raids, yeah? Because it provides you with a unique damage profile that does a lot of damage if the boss attacks a lot. It's not the case anymore, but I think that is something that is like way more interesting than having a Condi build that is exactly the same as every other Condi build. Nice, we start. Teleport here. Maybe we can even get the traps triggered. God. Boosted. God, that's annoying. I will not make it in time. Too slow. Because I did not make the jump. Also don't have any swiftness. At least I didn't trigger any traps yet. Okay, let's do it again. I can do the far one. But yeah, like having a class that has a unique profile, a unique way to play, and having something that is worth on this boss and another class is worth on this boss. And that's not only for the DPS builds. That should also go, in my opinion, for builds that are not only DPS, like a healer. For example, a healer that has a lot of reflect should be worthwhile taking on this fight. A healer that has a lot of stability should be worthwhile taking on this fight. And they should not overlap. It should not be like Chronomancer has a lot of H's, has a lot of reflect, or has access to reflect, while also having access to, for example, like stability, while also having amazing CC. Stuff like that. It's not good. It's definitely that should be the balance. But right now it feels more like every class is almost they balance classes in PvE to be almost exactly the same. They want to have the power level of Chronomancer on all classes. At least that's what it seems like. That's not perfect, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, we have a class with a second health bar. I know. I'm just talking about a specific warrior attack that will buff your allies' health. Yeah, so that you can, for example, use a shout or something, and that would, or a banner, yeah, and that will buff the health by giving them vitality for the next like 10 seconds or something. Yeah, why not? I think that would be a very unique buff that we don't have in that regard yet. No valid path, okay. That's very interesting. Okay, just concentrate. Maybe we can get it done even. It's challenging. It's challenging for sure. Yeah, I think it's really bad that a lot of people always want to have a build and they want to play it on every boss. But I personally think it's way more interesting if you have a class balance in terms of like on some bosses it's good, some bosses it's not as good. I think that would be way more interesting than if you would have classes that are all somewhat homogeneous. I think that's not the most healthy way of doing it. I mean, Mesmer, and I think they should take a lot of stuff away from Mesmer. Yeah, I think that's also a way to do it, but I think that's something that is a little bit harder to implement because a lot of people are used to spec being as strong as Mesmer. And if they would remove it as a support spec, or at least some parts of it, people would not be as happy. Yeah. People would not be as happy. I mean, we can also do another one. We can also do another one. We don't have to do Swampland here if you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. It's like the problem is the flexibility of Mesmer, and that's it's very hard to take away of the spec. It's really challenging to take that away. But I mean, you don't have to take it away if you give it some more incentive for other classes to play a specific. For example, if one spec had a little bit more stability than Mesmer, then it would be incentivized to play on other like bosses rather. Maybe, who knows? I think Guild Wars 2 could have some balance in that regard as well. That Mesmer is the flexibility spec, but it's not as good as on with anything than a spec that is specialized in only providing stability. I don't know, could be balanced this way. No, it's just a random name. I really have, I didn't think about anything, what kind of name I want to get done here on this account. I just chose a name that like sounded like a decent name. I really like, I did not think about it long at all. I'm not like a big role player or something. That's just the name that I found sounds like a name. That's it. Yeah, it's true. You could easily just steal some ideas from the other MMOs or other games as well. Yeah, why not? For sure. You should always do that if you want to make your game better. I think looking for other MMOs, other games that do a really good job with specific things, just implement them in your game as well. Why not? They can give a Guild Wars 2 a twist to not be exactly like Commanding Shout, like a stun break with max XP increase. Yeah, exactly. I think they should just like make something that is good in another game and bring it to Guild Wars 2 and add something, change it a little bit to make it more unique, to make it something that is like similar to Guild Wars 2. And that should be good enough. Nice. Thanks, but I already have like amazing out of those. I already have a lot of those, so don't worry. I have like on this account like +10 +9 infusions here, so don't worry, don't worry. And the thing is, I also want to use everything here on this account completely farmed myself. I don't want to any donations. I just want to get everything done on my own to showcase that the new player can do that as well. Yeah. Invention of Chronomancer was the point of no return. Yeah, I guess that's probably the case, yeah. Just burn it to the ground, make everyone mad once, and then balance it in a new niche each. Yeah, I mean, that could be a way. ArenaNet is somewhat like scared of doing crazy drastic balance changes like that. I think they should. I think they should, but that might be a hot take. Maybe a lot of players would hate me for this take. But I personally think like having some kind of drastic change to make the future balance or the future uniqueness of classes guaranteed is probably the best way to do it, yeah. It was to relies heavily on a casual community, making this casual community have a lot of build characters just to do content. I think you got me wrong there, Artemis. My idea was not to say you have to play Chronomancer on this boss, you have to play Guardian on this boss. No, my point was that you should balance classes at the top end, that one of them is really good at a specific boss, one of them is really good at another boss, but all of them should be viable. That's the important part. There should not be a single boss where you can not play, for example, a Heal Scourge. I think that's bad. I'm definitely with you there. You should be able, if you're a casual player, just play a single character. You should be able to play all the bosses on one character. I think it's more about the high end. If you want to min-max stuff, then it should be so that you don't always take Chronomancer. But right now it feels like in most speedruns and stuff, you take a Chronomancer. You don't even ask the question what kind of speedrun you're going for. It's typically a Chronomancer or Druid in raids. And that's in my opinion quite sad. It should be balanced in a way that you would say, okay, I want to speedrun this specific boss. Now I take a different healer or a different DPS build. That's what I meant, yeah. If you had to choose a main as the Mesmer, what would it be? Probably Elementalist, to be honest. I like this like kind of mage fantasy and stuff like that. Maybe necromancer, but right now in Guild Wars 2, necromancer is like, for me, like support is a little bit linear. It's only Scourge. And I like to play support, and I think Elementalist has like Tempest, Catalyst, Evoker coming up. So many different specs, and the DPS specs are awesome as well. I would probably go for Elementalist if I would not choose Mesmer, yeah. Do you have any Guild Wars 2 streamers that you watch yourself? Yes. I like to watch Grimcheck. I don't know if you know this guy. It's a very, very, probably, if I would have to say like that, I don't want to be like any, like, mean to any other streamers, but I think he's probably the best Guild Wars 2 streamer out there. He plays PvP and PvE at the highest level, like monthly AT winner, like raid tournament winner and stuff like that. So he's probably, I would say, one of the best players. And I like to watch players that are really, really good at a game. So that's what I like to watch. But there are a lot of other cool content creators in Guild Wars 2 that make content and that I watch somewhat sometimes. But I like really regularly don't watch that much stuff because I'm oftentimes either streaming myself or creating videos. So oftentimes I don't have that much time to just relax in the chats and stuff like that. Hopefully that will change at some point, but for now I'm quite busy and I'm not like being on Twitch 24/7, so to say. Yeah. What you're asking for is to give everyone a baseline on the same amount of age stability, then give a unique effect. Exactly. That is what I would like. Something that makes a build workable in all encounters, but if you want to have the best in a specific encounter, you would go for a different class every time. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's what I would probably want to have as a balance. I know, it's extremely challenging to make that work because it's not only about balancing a class, but it's also about balancing encounters around class design, which is really challenging. Really, really challenging, especially with so many lead spec that we already have. It's really challenging, but I can dream, I guess. Yeah. Wing 8 has some new builds that people use a lot. I agree. That's really good. And that's, I think, one of the best selling points about Wing 8, for example, Greer, is that you use, for example, a Herald or some Revenant spec that gets a lot of like projectile destruction up. I think that's really cool. I think more ideas, more builds, more theory crafting about bosses and the specs around specific things like that would be awesome. Absolutely, yeah. I agree, Chronomancer should be a jack of all trades, master of none, support spec. Exactly. I think that would be awesome balance. If it would be the best in terms of flexibility, but nowhere near the, or not exactly the best in anything that it provides. Just really strong and can fill every single role. And I think that's actually what they're aiming for. At least that's what it looks like. Yeah. Yeah, Boys is also very nice. Yeah. There are a lot of good ones. Like PvP has actually some decent streamers as well to watch. Yeah, for sure. But I just don't want to like name drop random people all the time. I just watch a lot of different content creators, watch them. You will have a lot of fun. Guild Wars 2 needs more content creators and needs more viewers watching them. So always good to watch them. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people don't like changing their class or their build because that's what a casual MMO is typically all about. Having one class, don't want to optimize something. And I think that should be doable as well. I think it should be both. In an ideal world, a game should cater to the casual audience as well as the try-hard elitist audience. Absolutely. Like, why not have a build that is playable for every single class, that is for a casual player and has a very nice usefulness for a tryhard player as well in a specific fight. In another fight, it would be something else. I think that is really good balancing, or it is really good understanding of what a game needs. Yeah. Welcome, Pizza Out. Welcome, welcome. Do you have a video about recommended mastery points other than insights? Not yet. I will try to make one because obviously this is something that I encounter here on this account as well. Because for me, obviously, a lot of stuff is about unlocking here on this 0-0 account as well. And some of them are really challenging. I noticed this now way more than I noticed it on my main account. So I will do a guide about this very soon. Yeah. It's weird because this game has quite a big player base, but the content is not that much. Exactly. It's like Guild Wars 2 has two issues, I would say. The content, like quantity that it provides in terms of like big like expansions and a lot of raid content, a lot of like instance content or more maps that we get is rather small, as well as the community that is actually making content about the game is rather small. And those two things together seem like the game is not that big, but the amount of players that actually actively play Guild Wars 2 is quite big. It's actually the player base in Guild Wars 2 is probably at least top 10 MMOs, if not top 5 in terms of player base. It's really big, at least in the Western audience. Yeah, good point. If you're a new player, Guild Wars 2 has insane amount of content. It's just if you're a 10-year veteran, then the content amount might be lower than you want it to be. But if you're a new player, you have years of content. So it's more about the veterans that I'm saying here, that you will not have enough maps or something because you will just get like 4 maps per year or something like that. But for a new player, you have insane amount of new content, like crazy. You will not catch up in the next year. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. I think Terra did it right. They had encounters. Everyone could join in the same dungeon on hard mode for the hardcore players. Yeah, difficulty settings is definitely something that Guild Wars 2 also struggles with. It's getting now better with the quick play and like challenge modes, legendary challenge modes and stuff like that. But it's not optimal. They still need that. Yeah. Wow, nice. Yeah. What is the best way to get +9 infusions? You can buy them from the trading post if you don't want to engage with anything, or you can just go to the fractal vendor. If you go to the fractal vendor, you can just convert your normal +1 infusions to +9 infusions. I will show that after this fractal, okay? Exactly. I think if we had more long-term investments like the Golden Saucer we got in we have in Final Fantasy, I think that would be very, very cool. If in Guild Wars 2 like some kind of miniature battles or something like a mini game and stuff like that would be really good in longevity as well. Like just make something that is for veterans, something to collect, go back to old content. Why not? That's a really cool idea. I like that. I need your honest opinion of Bladezone. I love the theme and have fun playing it, but sometimes when the fight gets chaotic and panic strikes and I die. Yeah, Bladezone is one of the specs that is like horrible. Like probably the worst spec in Guild Wars 2 to play in chaotic fights. Because it loves like perfectly cleared out phases. If you have a really good phase and you really know what you're doing, then it's easy. But as soon as it gets chaotic, you just cannot like stand still, or your support is like not helping you. You die and you have big problems. So I would say Bladezone for the tryhard players, quite a nice spec. For players that are like casual, I think it can be very punishing. The agony here killed me almost. It was crazy. So I would say I think Bladezone needs some buffs in general, but I think also Bladezone is a very fun spec for the players that want to min-max and are really tryharding. Yeah. I have 7.8k hours and I'm nowhere close to finishing all achievements and all content. The sim is like 5 CMs and all LCMs. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think I'm also not nowhere close to getting all the achievements, but everyone has a different aspect of when a game is done. Some people say when I have the best in slot gear, I'm done with the game. And in Guild Wars 2, you can get it in a month. So I think that's some argument why some people say Guild Wars 2 doesn't have endgame. But I think Guild Wars 2 nowadays has a lot of endgame. It's just like players don't understand it. Oh my god, this thing is crazy. That's absolutely insane. The damage from those like stacking together is like, oof, it hurts. Okay. You have to kill one of those at least. There we go. I think Guild Wars 2 is like... I think Guild Wars 2 is like 2-3 at this point. I don't know. I think Guild Wars 2 is in a good spot and I think it has a lot of years until it's like not as exciting anymore. But for now, I think Guild Wars 2 has years in the future to be played. Yeah. Welcome, Hypey. Welcome. I've been playing a few months now and enjoying both Ranger and Engineer. I will play both, but I want to really invest my time in one. Which one do you think is best for endgame PvE content like Fractals and Raids? Both of them are amazing. Like, I'm really sorry, but I cannot give you a definite answer. Like, Scrapper is awesome, Amalgam will be awesome for high-end content, Mechanist is really good, Druid is really good if you want to play a healer. So I would say if you like to play a full support, then I would say Ranger is better than engineer, because Mechanist is not that crazy good at supporting. But if you want to play DPS, both of them are awesome. So choose the one that you like. Both of them are top tier picks. Top tier picks. So I wanted to show you the vendor for the Agony Infusions. You go here, and then there is this guy here called Infuse 5959, and there you can exchange your +1 infusions for +9 infusions. That's what you would do. You save like 20s and go through a lot of hassle. There's literally zero reason. Yeah, that's true. You can do that as well. That's nice, awesome. Glad to hear that. Welcome, Don. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I wanted to do a like say account tour. Let's do that. So let's do an account tour. I wanted to show what you could achieve like in roughly 100 hours. That's what I will play. So let's check how much we played. So the account age is, let's say, 91 hours over the last 49 days. So that's like 1.5 months, a little bit more. Like it depends, yeah. Let's say I played over 1.5 months, roughly 100 hours. Most of that 75 hours here on this character, which is the Mesmer. I played the rest on my Reaper, and the Reaper or Necromancer I've only like exclusively played in PvP for the Wizard's Vault dailies. That's the main thing that I got, Wizard's Vault dailies and weeklies, and I purchased every single thing in the Wizard's Vault that you could get. That is not the skins or stuff that I don't find that necessary. There are still some things that I will purchase, don't get me wrong, but nothing that in there is like insanely valuable. I purchased the main things like the Omni Potion, Mystic Coins, Ascended stuff, and of course the Legendary Starter Kit, Mystic Clover, stuff like that. So really, really important for progression. Yeah. And then what else did we get? Let's quickly check my achievements. I'm almost at 2.5k achievements. Just make a summary here of what I achieved here. I'm never anyone that pushes achievements. I don't care. I just get them passively. The main thing that I got for the achievements is of course from playing the fractals and PvP and stuff that I did. And of course for the masteries. The masteries that I unlocked are Pack Commander, of course, getting the Advanced Logistics for auto-looting. I just got it this today. So that's the thing that is like probably the thing that you should actually go first, because it's really good to get the auto-loot. It's really nice convenience. I just went for the recursive resourcing first because it gives me more loot from fractals. And I know I play a lot of fractals. That's why I went for this one first. Other than that, I don't have anything else than gliding and some kind of like achievements that I needed to go to get the progression from the story, like Rift Guidance. Everything else I have not unlocked and I don't care. I will do that at some point later when I do more of those specific maps to get the legendaries there or something like that. But for now, masteries was never my main goal. That's why my master rank is very low and could be very, very higher. Yeah. And next up, I played a lot of Mesmer. Of course, I unlocked the elite specs, Chronomancer, Mirage. Virtuoso I don't have unlocked yet. Mirage and Chronomancer for nice support and also some solo potential. That's why I unlocked those first. Just preference, yeah. And other than that, I got, of course, on this character here the map completion, yeah, which was one of the main things in the beginning, getting core Tira map completion done. I did that rather slow, but that was okay. Used it to level, of course, and then I used it to craft the legendary spear, which I still have. On this account, of course, I purchased it or made it myself, everything on my own. It was really easy with the 2 legendary starter kits, combining them, making that within a month. That's really, really easy to get done with the starter kits, so really, really good. Other than that, let's quickly check what else we have. We have purchased the Candy Corn Gobbler and the Runecrafter Savage-O-Matic from the gem store, because this is something that is really valuable for the future to come on this account. I play a lot on this account, or plan to, and progress more and get more legendaries, get more masteries and stuff like that. And the Runecrafters is good for that, and the Candy Corn Gobbler is amazing for getting more boosters and stuff like that. So that's awesome. In general, other than that, yeah, just a little bit of a bigger inventory. I have, of course, a lot of low res, a lot of karma, and at least for a new account, some spirit shards lying around, and a decent chunk of gold. Not that much anymore, but okay. And other than that, nothing special, nothing fancy, to be honest. Yeah, some Shade Heroics if I want. I could use that to unlock, for example, the Virtuoso to some extent. That's good. Almost the whole Virtuoso I can unlock. That's nice. But maybe I wait for the expansion. Maybe I want to play Troubadour on this account. We will see. And other than that, nothing, like absolutely nothing. We have some Blue Prophet shards, some Fractal Relics, Pristine Fractal Relics, stuff like that. But you can see almost nothing that is like impressive here. I really was focused on completing the goals at hand and not going like in different directions. Exactly, just missing some fashion, yeah. When it comes to gear, I of course got the legendary gloves from the event, or from currently from Quickplay as well. You can always get this. I got an ascended weapon, and I get full ascended armor, and I have full ascended trinkets. I don't have, of course, legendary relic, but I'm missing a back piece. That's the only ascended piece that I'm missing. And I don't have the weapons, the second set, but that's not important because I'm mostly camping rival anyways on this build. So that's it. So the gear could easily be improved. Definitely if I want to go to higher fractal level, I want to get to 150 agony resistance, but this is good for now for tier 3. So in general, I'm quite happy with the progression here. Could be better. I will definitely want to get more weapons here. And better weapons for sure, ascended weapons. I will get that either from like PvP or maybe from the strike vendor or even from World Fractals or World vs. World. So there are so many ways to get ascended gear. Or after the expansion drops, I can just purchase another one from the Wizard's Vault. So it's really, really easy. Other than that, that's how it looks. And like the chat mentioned here, I never changed any transmutation charges or anything. It's exactly the same look as before, so that's why this looks like, I don't know if you like the look or not, but that's how it looks, because I never change it. Exactly. Then that's I will answer questions a little bit later. I just want to get the showcase here of what I achieved. Of course, I have some random stuff on the bank here. I did not expand the bank. I just like have some stuff gathered that I didn't use for my legendary. Mostly Mystic Coins, for example, some Mystic Clovers leftovers, and other than just some random stuff that you could use for legendaries, but nothing crazy. Nothing, not that much value anyway, just what I collected. Then I have some stuff in the bank. You can see the spear. I have to bind it actually. We should bind it here to prove that I actually made it here. There we go. That's it. Got a legendary. The spear. It's the first legendary that we got here on this account. Very nice, very nice. But we got it a while ago, a couple of weeks ago. And other than that, just some boosters. We also have, of course, one more gift of exploration. Maybe we make Sunrise at some point. We will see, because we have almost everything for that anyway. And other than that, nothing too fancy. Let's quickly check the other character. I don't know. Is it insane, to be honest, in 100 hours? I'm not. I would say it's like I'm just like quite focused. It's not like I'm not like speedrunning or anything. Yeah. And this character, I just played it in PvP. I used it for my storage, like some candy corn, a lot of ascended stuff, ascended chunk, and some more other stuff that I just got. For example, Eternal Ice Shards, some Itrate ingots or something. If I want to craft any 32 slot bags, I guess. And other than that, this character is only played in PvP. And nothing too fancy here either. If you look at my PvP thing, I'm ranked 25. Wait, can you see it? No, you can't. But there you can see 26 here. So that means I'm ranked 25 right now. Yeah, okay. I played a bit of PvP. I played in total 64 games. Or 84 games, which I won 64 of. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I'm playing a lot against new players, which are not that good yet. And I played a bit of ranked, of course, as well. I got into Gold 3 for now after 32 matches, which I won 27 of. So quite a good win rate. Again, I'm playing against a lot of new players, so it's not as exciting. I played a lot of PvP for the dailies, so I got some nice Wizards, like reward track progress here as well, and the Wizards Vault progress. But that's about it, so it's not too exciting. Other than that, I played some World vs. World as well. In World vs. World, I did only get the Gift of Battle and almost instantly stopped. I got to rank 19, so not that high either. But good enough to get the reward track and get the gift of battle and also get some other stuff. But other than that, nothing too fancy. So you can see like the account doesn't have like insane amount of unlocks. The achievement points are also not that high, but I did what I needed to get done with my challenge of getting legendary, getting some fractals going, getting PvP done. And like I said, this will be only the first season. I will do more stuff of that in the future as well, where I talk about how to unlock, for example, Aurora, Vision and stuff. That will all be done here on this account, just not before the expansion. That's the main thing here. Yeah. So now I can answer some more questions. Yeah, it's nice. I think it's quite fun. Yeah, I think the bags is something that I really dislike here on this character. I have a lot of like just some random garbage lying around here. I think that's definitely something that I need to improve, that I have bigger bags and maybe have some stuff that is definitely like cleaning it up a bit more, because right now it really looks like there is nothing that I actually like. It's just every time I get something I have to open it. It's not sorted. It's not nice at all, but that comes with time, I guess. That comes with time, hopefully. And I will try to get some more bank slots as well, I guess, because that's quite annoying as well, just having to like always put stuff in the bank, then thinking about it like 3 times. That's not perfect, but that's that for now. And yeah, looks quite good. Yeah, PvP matches can be very annoying, especially if you're on a losing streak. I feel you. Of course, it will be easier to advance on a new account if you already have the knowledge. Exactly. That's like, I never said a new player would get this stuff in the same amount of time. Never. I'm just saying a new player could easily follow along and will maybe learn something and maybe get stuff done faster than normally. And hopefully that will help them in the long run as well, and then let them enjoy the game a bit more, for sure. I'm not saying that this is something that a new player will also get. They will probably not achieve the same amount in 90 hours. Just saying, this is what I achieved, and that's what I want to showcase here. Yeah. As a new player, there's so much stuff to do, so it's easy to get sidetracked, but as a relative new player, 1,000 hours, I like this series a lot. Yeah, glad to hear that. What's a decent build to play PvP as a beginner? I would say Sage Tempest or maybe Condi Reaper. Those are quite easy to play. I would say also maybe the Bruiser Willbender that I released a video about a month ago or something. That's also really good. Those 3 builds I would say are probably quite easy, somewhat easy to get into. Yeah. I had fun. I was surprised. In the beginning it was a little bit like tedious with the world exploration, but as soon as I got 80, I was actually surprised how much fun I had. So I would say Snowbleach, yes, I had fun, yes. And I hope I will have more fun in the future. Just like I said, not with the expansion coming up, I want to play my main account, get some stuff unlocked and stuff like that. And I will stream all of that, try new builds. But as soon as the hype is somewhat gone, or at least my stuff is done, my content, I will come back and do the season 2 and get more stuff. But yeah, a lot of cool progress, a lot of cool insights that I got as a veteran that I would not have gotten any other way. I made even a whole video about what I think should be changed about the new player experience, because I noticed it now, which I never noticed before. And yeah, it's a really cool insight, really cool journey for sure. Yeah. Is the only way to get back slots through a gem store? There are some events sometimes give you back slots, like drops or like special fractal events gives you, for example, a back slot. But yes, typically it's only the gem store, yes. What do you think about Condi Quickness Firebrand? It's really good. It's really, really good if you know how to position yourself. You always have to position yourself, that if that's your target group, you want to help you give them quickness, you have to position it like that. If you are standing like that, you give only half of them quickness. Yeah, so always you have to position like that. If you do that, have that in your mind, then it's really good. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I hope you enjoyed this journey as well. And if you did, then you can also, of course, watch all of my videos, all of my VODs. I have all of that on my YouTube channel if you want to see that. It was a fun ride. I streamed of those 90 hours. I streamed like probably 85 or something. So it's everything is online. You can watch it whenever you want. And it should help you. I always had some nice like conversations and questions that I tried to answer for new players as well. So that's my goal. I wanted to showcase as a veteran that as a new player you can just ask questions and follow along, and that hopefully helps everybody. Yeah. I recently got a legendary Sigils and now want to min-max a bit. I found that the discretite cheat sheet for fractals, which shows the best potion Sigils for each fractal. Is there something similar for strikes and raids? So the short answer is no, because strikes and raids don't have that. Dungeons and fractals have the specific things where you can, for example, in like, let's showcase in, let's say, what kind of fractal is a good example? Let's say, yeah, I don't know. Let's show one fractal here. Let's say volcanic fractal. You start with crawl and the end boss is a demon. Yeah, so you can min-max your sigils and your potions there. But in raids and fractals, in raids and strike missions, this is specifically disabled. You cannot get Night Sigil, you cannot get a Ghost Slaying Sigil or whatever, because even though the boss might be considered from a roleplay perspective, being a somewhat of a ghost, it does not work on the sigils or the potions. So raids and strike missions cannot use any potions that or you can, but it doesn't have any effect to get more damage or stuff like that. It's only working in fractals and dungeons. Thanks for the raid, Tim. Really appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so that's the answer there. So there is no spreadsheet because it doesn't work. Yes. Another raid. Thanks a lot, Sebi. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Yes, you can get... No, I think the question was not about getting a specific bag, but it was about getting a bag slot. Yeah, so the bag slot in Guild Wars 2 is quite hard to come by. You will typically only get it from the gem store. Those bag slot expansions, there is one thing from drops that happened before, that we got a bag slot expansions via drops from Twitch, and there was like multiple events where you could get this, I think, from like a specific, for example, fractal event you could do last month. You could get 2 bag slots expansions from that. Yes. Yeah. But bags are obviously way easier to get, but bag slot expansions are somewhat more challenging. Yeah. Welcome, Sim. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Yes, you can solo tier 1 fractals. You can actually, there are some people, for example, like you can definitely solo even tier 4 fractals. Yeah, I just wanted to mention, yeah, you can, I have a video build showcase about Condition Reaper, which solos the whole Nightmare fractal in CM, in challenge mode. So you can, like, even the challenge modes in fractals, or at least some of them, can be soloed. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, Guild Wars 2 is a very skill-based game, and especially 5-person content, but even 10-player content like raids can be soloed, yeah? So for example, Sloth of Thor, Matthias, Kern, those can be soloed, those raid bosses. Yeah, it's possible. And that same goes for challenge modes of fractals as well, yeah. How about account sharing slots? I only have 3 from the expansion. Yeah, so account sharing slots, so those shared inventory slots, I have 4 here on this account because I got them from the expansion purchases. Other than that, you can get them only from the gem store. Like almost every single upgrade, account upgrade, like for example, you can see that here, material storage expander, build storage expansion. There are more here, let me show. At crafting license, bag slot, bank tab, all of that, build storage, build template, character slot, all of that is gemstone. That's how ArenaNet makes some more real money. But you can purchase everything with the currency exchange. So you can always purchase gems with gold in the game. So you can get all of those unlocks for just playing the game, or you can swipe your credit card if you want to spend some money. You can also do that. But that's just how they make their money. That's why those items are typically not in the game earnable via achievements or stuff like that. There are some exceptions, like I said, with the back slot or in the Wizard's Vault. There's nowadays always a build storage expansion and a build template expansion, but you will never see a bank tab expansion, at least for now. We didn't have that, maybe in the future, but for now we don't have that. The same goes for a lot of the other stuff that you might want. For example, shared inventory slots. Yeah. I want to get more inventory spaces than the 20 specs. Which ones are, in your opinion, the easiest ones to get? So if you want to go all in on 32 slot bags. So really the highest amount of bags that you can get. So is 32 slot bags. Yeah, I have 20 here, which you can purchase from the TP. But as soon as you go higher than 20 slots, you have to craft it yourself. You cannot sell it. It's account bound. And there are two options. Either you go for the Boreal bags, which you can get from going Icefruit Saga, strike missions and maps, which you need the 8 red ingots here. Those are the cheapest option. If you don't have those or don't want to do that, then the next best option is World vs. World. World vs. World is even cheaper, but you have to play a lot of World vs. World to get those. And cheaper is relative because it's cheaper than the normal 32 slot bags, but they all cost around 200 gold for one bag. Yes, so it's always very expensive to get 32 slot bags. A 20 slot bag costs around like 10, 15 gold, whereas a 32 slot bags cost 200 gold roughly. So yes, very, very expensive thing, absolutely. What are the best 2 or 3 items to get from the gem store as a new player? I would say Candy Corn Gobbler and Salvage Kit. That is on top there, but maybe if you gather a lot, Infinite Gathering Tools can be up there. Getting a new character slot if you play a lot of different characters. Depends a bit. I have a whole tier list about this on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out, because I talk about every single gem store item. But I would say for new player, top tier items, Candy Corn Gobbler, probably a Salvage Kit, and maybe some kind of account expansion. Yeah. Make a video of things that can be soloed, please. Also should be in a party or what? No, you can also be alone. You can do soloing stuff. You can solo so much different stuff in Guild Wars 2. You don't have to be in any party or something. You can just join whenever you want there. Yeah. So I can even showcase this if I want to. Or if you want to solo a raid boss, you don't have to be a commander or something like that. Yeah. I can just go to the Lion's Arch Airdrome. Let me showcase this, and then I will just open the instance. I don't need to be a commander. I can just join, and that's it. Yeah. Yes, you do get the PvP legendary armor. You can purchase it from a vendor, which is the Ascended armor, and then you can. This is the precursor for that. So for the legendary. So I create a squad. I don't have to be a commander. I go in, Strong Out of the Faithful. That's obviously one that you couldn't be soloing, but now I'm in and I can solo this. I don't care. I can just solo this now if I wanted. If I could. The Wing 1, the first part here, I can't solo because obviously that's the escort. I cannot solo this, but other bosses you could. Yeah. Yes, there is an add-on that I use, which is called the Session Tracker that you saw in yesterday's video about the lab farming. The Session Tracker lets you select here. It's called the Blishart add-on, and in there is this module called the Session Tracker. I have a guide how to set it up, and in there you can select like from a huge chunk of things that you want to collect or that you want to showcase using the API. You can, for example, see how much gold did I earn in the last hour. Yeah, and then you can also like select, okay, I want to see how, for example, how much World vs. World kills I got. Yeah, or how much karma I got. You can everything like that could be tracked. You just have to select it here and then it will show and update it every few minutes. That's how this works. It's called the Session Tracker in Blishart. Yeah. If you want to know, have a guide about how to set it up, you can type !mouse in the Twitch chat. There is a link then to a video where I showcase how to set this specific add-on up. It's completely legal. You can use it. It's fine. It's just an overlay. Exactly. And I think that's also the end of today's stream. So I had a blast. It was really fun. I wish you all a very nice weekend. And thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And stay tuned. We have more stuff coming up. Very nice videos coming up. And hopefully very, very nice streams when the expansion drops as well. So thanks a lot for joining in. Like I said, take care. And I hope to see you around. See you around. Yes, you should practice your rotations on a golem. It's always in this area, special forces training area here in the golem. Test your stuff and train your stuff. Yes, that's correct. Take care, guys. Take care.